Ooh. Red or blue? Red or blue? Red is heads, blue is tails. Tails, okay. I completely just flopped the coin. Alright, welcome back to Fall Guys. Let's just start off by getting pissed off. Let's see what's in the store. Yeah. Wow, oh, did you know this costume used to just be 10 crown? Oh, God, I don't know why, but for some reason in this, the PS5 shows up so much darker now. There we go. That's how it looks, but it shows up way darker in the stream. Yeah, this costume used to just be 10 crowns. Now you have to pay real money for it. And like, part of what they're doing is that they're making these, right, because before you used to have to pay 5 parts per crown, and if you didn't get it when the costume originally came out, you were never guaranteed to find the costume again, right? I have the, I'll use an example for my own costumes. Where is it? Where's my baby? Where's my baby boy? There he is. The jacket, as it's called. My longest... It's interesting that it's classified as special. That's... Huh. Is that new? I swear it used to be classified as legendary. Yeah, before... So this is a Hotline Miami costume. I had enough... When it came out, I had enough crowns to get the top half, but not the bottom half. Since then, the bottom half has never shown up in stores. And I was never able to get it. Right? It never showed up again. But like, so this time you're at least getting the whole costume, but you have to pay real fucking money for it. Oh my god. Same thing, like, oh, it's cool you get, like, new face, right? Because I'm always down for new face plates. But, yeah, you gotta pay real fucking money for them. Oh, my god, I fucking hate it so much. Meanwhile, the Kudo shop only changes once a week. And just has the most boring, generic things ever. Oh, I don't actually have this one. Oh wow, something I can actually spend my $2 billion on. Wow. Okay, it's $500,000, but still. You get my point. God, I fucking hate the Kudo shop. Let's see. Squad, and then any shows. So I guess let's just jump into squad shows. But yeah, so I'm just super... Basically, costumes are dead to me, right? How the game has progressed, you just can't use costumes, right? You can't get new costumes unless you get them in the season pass or you already had them. Because I'm not going to spend any real money on this game. At least I'm going to try not to. So yeah, no, that fucking sucks. It really, in hindsight, it makes me wish I used my crowns more. You know... Like, I wish I had bought... Like, I had over 100 crowns. I wish I had used them more. I wish I had bought more cool costumes. I mean, again, I played as a chicken for, what, a year? I played as the chicken man, the Hotline Miami top, for, like, a year. And I'm only really using the glizzy now because it's rare. Because they will... They might offer it in the store at some point... But I really hope they stick to their words and never offer the golden hot dog again. Like, they did other golden challenges, but not ones with the golden hot dog, so we'll see. It just makes it special, you know? It's one of the golden hot dog is probably the rarest costume I have. Probably. Yeah. So yeah, this week has just been, oh my god, it fucking sucks. You know, like, we all knew it was coming, right? The Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. We all knew it was going to happen eventually. That's part of the reason the draft leaked, right? Was to make sure that it went through. But it's just, I've just been fucking out of it these past few days. This is it. This is the end of America right here. Like, we're watching it play out in real time. I haven't given up on it. Don't get me wrong. I haven't given up on America. It's just, what comes out of this might not be America. You know, we might have something different. But I haven't given up on you, you piece of shit. The Supreme Court, however, this council of wizards that can, you know, do whatever they want with no repercussions, though they can get straight fucked. There is a solution to all of this, but I can't say it, because then I would get banned. But trust me, there is a solution. And if things continue the way they are, who knows? Like I said, this might be the end of America. Hopefully what comes after it is better. Alright, hopefully we skip to America and not whatever Robespierre did in France, right? And then Napoleon. Yeah, hopefully we just skip straight to America. Better. Yeah, hopefully we don't just give ourselves a new California Republic. I've been playing a lot of Fallout, man. Like, honestly, all terms I'm thinking of, like, all the metaphors I'm thinking of to describe this are all in the terms of Fallout. And even though I haven't been playing New Vegas, I've been playing Fallout 4, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, it's just been an exhausting week. Yeah, we're post E3. So for this week for In Chat, we are post E3. It's kind of, I mean, again, there's a rumored Nintendo Direct in like 3 days. So yeah, even though we're post E3, we're kind of not done with it yet. We've got one more showcase from Nintendo. Maybe even one more, because there is a leak that came out this morning that doesn't have Nintendo on it. I'll double check again once we get to it. But it didn't have, I mean, it kind of had Nintendo on it, but it also didn't. Or else I would think it would be revealed at the Nintendo Showcase. Which, yeah, the consensus is that the Direct is either Tuesday or Wednesday, the 28th or the 29th. And yeah, so I think the Direct could be revealed as early as tomorrow. They might wait until Monday. You know, Nintendo has historically waited last minute. It could be, I mean, they could, you know, actually just reveal the thing on Thursday, but I doubt it. But even though there is a Nintendo Direct coming next week, or yeah, technically it's next week, it's Saturday. So yeah, and week starts on, I still don't get why the week starts on Sunday. Right? Even from honestly, yeah, that's something I've never gotten. Like, I use the Google Calendar on my phone, and that one has the week start on Monday. Yeah, and you would even think, like, from a biblical standpoint, like, it's the whole because, again, the whole calendar is kind of based around stuff like that. I know Julian calendar, Julius Caesar, whatever. But, like, it's a whole seventh day rest, so that would make me think it's the end of the week, but no. Sunday is the start of the week. It makes no sense. And nobody treats it like that, obviously. It's called the weekend, but yeah, most calendars will have Sunday at the start of the week. But yeah, okay, I got completely off track there. I'm sure there's an actual reason that I could find a really nice, like, 60-second TikTok that explains it, but I'm not gonna look that up. But so Nintendo has a Direct coming next week. But they did have a direct this week, which gets us to our first one of technically 2 news stories this week, but I have a third thing I want to talk about. But we got a Xenoblade Chronicles direct. Now, I have said in the past, I've admitted Xenoblade Chronicles, the original game on Wii, 3DS, and Switch, is one of my favorite games of all time. There was a period when I first played it, where, what was that, 2014, 2015-ish? I don't remember. When did I first play Xenoblade? I think it was 2015-ish. That might be wrong. Where I would say, after playing it, I was like, yeah, this is my favorite game of all time. Since then, you know, my mind's changed a little bit. I still really love the original Xenoblade, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite game of all time anymore. That goes to something indie, you know, your Shovel Knights, your Celeste. Oh crap. Something else that I'm not thinking of at the moment, but I know there is other stuff. But the original the original Xenoblade, just I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again real quick. So there was this whole backstory about Xenoblade not coming to America, and there was this whole big operation to get 3 games to America, and one of them was Xenoblade. I don't remember what the operation was even called. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But it was successful, and Xenoblade was brought to America exclusively at GameStop. But hey, it got to America. So now Xenoblade released in America, and I didn't play it. I never even heard of it. Then in like 2013, 2014, Shulk got added to Smash Bros. And I was like, I have no idea who this Shulk guy is. Xenoblade Chronicles. That name seems familiar. At the time, Chugga Conroy was doing a Let's Play of Xenoblade Chronicles. And I was like, yeah, Chugga Conroy is one of the best Let's Players of all time. Yeah, I'll watch that. So I started watching it. At the time, he had released, I want to say, the first, 40 episodes. I binged the first 40 episodes. And at the end of the first 40, I was like, oh my god, this is... Because at the time, when the whole Smash Bros. Announcement happened, he was, out sick for a while. In my memory, it's a year, right? Chugga Conroy disappeared for a year. In actuality, if I remember correctly, it was only 3 months. But in my memory, it was forever. But yeah, so during that time, yeah, Chugga Conroy was on hiatus. But I binged his entire Xenoblade series and was like, I've got to play this game. So then, a few months later, it came out on 3DS. And I picked it up, and I binged through all of Chugga Conroy. I binged it again, playing alongside. And then, eventually he came back from his hiatus, and he finished the game. And yeah, I loved it. And then I picked up Xenoblade Chronicles X. I played that. Never beat it, but I did enjoy it. Xenoblade Chronicles X is it's different. It's in some ways it's the most approachable game in the series, at least for Western audiences. But in other ways it's not. I don't know. It's very interesting, right? I liked it. I wish I had beaten it. I tried. I'm just it's around this point I am convinced that the only reason I beat Xenoblade Chronicles is because of Chugga Conroy. Because with the exception of Pokemon and Undertale, I have only beaten I don't think I've beaten any other RPGs. Let's see, Xenoblade Chronicles 3DS came out in... Is it... I'm trying to find a release date. March of 2015? It came out sometime in, spring 2015. It's not telling me an exact release date, but it's sometime around then. Right, so I played through, I kept, alright, it followed along week after week. But yeah, in, the past, 7 years, I've only beaten a handful of RPGs. Undertale, anything by Pokemon, and Xenoblade. So that tells you how good I think it is. Even I'm playing through Fallout 4 right now, which is technically an RPG. And I started Fallout 4 and I never even beat it. Right? I'm actually, in my current playthrough of Fallout 4, I am farther than I was in my original playthrough of Fallout 4 back in, 2015, 2016? Yeah. Yeah, I'm far. I just advanced past where I was last. And I'm not even trying to do the story, right? I'm just if I'm in the neighborhood, I'll do the next story quest. Yeah, and then, so Xenoblade 2 came out, I picked it up. Actually, I got it for stupid cheap, but that was a price error thing. Same thing with Torna. I got both Xenoblade in Torna. I own both, physical of Torna. And I got them probably for a combined $60. Because of price errors and whatnot. And Torna's its own game, right? Torna is so big. But yeah, so I started Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Played maybe 10 hours and never came back to it. Again, it's really hard for me to finish an RPG. And Torna, yep, even though I love the original, one of the best games ever, I couldn't, nope, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 I couldn't do. And I keep meaning to go back. And honestly, with 3 coming out, I might actually. Especially now that Chugga Conroy's Let's Play 2. I don't know if I'd want to watch along with Chugga Conroy again, because I tried watching along with Chugga Conroy for Pokemon, Platinum. It was Platinum. I tried playing along, and I don't know. It was just a different experience, and I don't know if it's one I'd want again. I don't know. I've thought about it, but Chugga Conroy is so good. But he has a guide, a starter guide to playing Xenoblade 2. And I might just watch that, restart the game, and go from there. That might be what I end up doing. Because again, I was only 10 hours in. So I'd kind of want to restart. I don't know, it's something I've been thinking about. But 3 is right around the corner. Comes out in a month. It's a little more than a month from now. And I'm again very interested, like I was with 2. I probably will not pick up 3 at launch, right? Because I never even beat 2. And you don't, as far as I know, you don't have to have played 1. Even though every Xenoblade Chronicles game but X is on the Switch, you don't have to have played any of the other ones to pick up the new one. As far as I know, I don't know. There are, based on watching the trailers, there seems to be some connecting threads. There are some characters that look like they're from the original in 2. But, yeah. It's nothing set in stone, I would say. I'm pretty sure... At least the way 2 was, it really felt like you could play 2 without playing 1. At least at the start, anyways. But yeah, 1 is... if you're even slightly interested, right? You think there's a chance you might like it, or if you've always heard good things about JRPGs, but don't know where to start. The first Xenoblade, which is on Switch and it looks great, is a good example. Because out of all RPGs, yeah, I would recommend Xenoblade to anybody. It'd be of all RPGs to people who don't play RPGs, I'd recommend Xenoblade, Dragon Quest XI, and Persona 5. And I say Persona 5 even though I've never played it, but dozens of other people have recommended Persona 5 to me as someone who doesn't play RPGs. Again, with the exceptions of Pokemon and Undertale. Which, God, there's a Switch sale going on right now. There's a Nintendo Switch sale going on. And I see all these games on sale, and I was like, please let Undertale be on sale. Because I want to play Undertale again, but I'm waiting for it to go on sale. Even though it's only $15, and I can totally justify spending $15. I don't know. There's also a lot of other games to play, so part of me is oh, I want to wait for it to go. I want that incentive of a sale to push me back into it. You know? But no, it's Undertale is one of the few games that's not on sale right now, so that sucks. But yeah, okay, so the actual direct itself. So we got a story trailer to start off. And we learn that the people of this world, they only live for 10 years. So these people, they live for 10 years and then they die. And like we learn one of the characters only has like 3 months to live. And there's like in the world, there's like these two different factions that, you know, that have been at endless war with each other. But now, like, groups from the two different factions, like 3 members from each faction, are now being forced to, like, work with each other after a, like, chance encounter. So now, like, something, you know, there's this bigger thing. It seems like there's these... Not Oristyras. Oh gosh, what are they? There's, like, this, like, they meet this, like, weird man... And there's like this robot thing that is basically the Mechons from the first one, but there seem to be they're fusions. God, I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, and that brings these two sides together. Now they're on the run from both their home countries, and they're trying to make their way towards this like giant sword. Which I know Xenoblade, from what little I remember from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The whole plot of that is that you were trying to make it to Elysium. So instead of, in this game, instead of trying to make it to Elysium, you're trying to make it to the sword. But yeah, this game definitely seems to be a combination of elements from both the first and the second game. It seems to be taking more influence from the second game, which again, I know the second game is somewhat controversial, but I know once you get a hang of what's going on, it's actually really good. I'm gonna take the side path. Or I'm gonna take the main path, I mean. But yeah, so the story trailer, what I like is I like that first bit about them trying to write that these people only live for 10 years. That's very interesting and has a lot of potential, especially because with the villains, they have like the infinity symbol in their eye. So part of me thinks that, oh, the whole villain's plot is that they're trying to find a way to live forever. That makes sense to me, right? The villains are trying to find a way to gain immortality. And also, I do have some other speculations about it, because as far as I know, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 takes place between the first game and the second game. So, like, it's basically, it fills in the gaps between Xenoblades 1 and 2. And again, I never beat 2, so I wouldn't know. But I have a few speculations about some things in the game based on having played Xenoblade Chronicles 1. But I don't want to say anything because it's a spoiler. Because I just recommend you go play Xenoblade Chronicles 1. It's very good, and it's on Switch. Right? I'm still waiting for them to port over X. Hey, Crispy Potatoes, how you doing? Nice to see ya. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to port over Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's the last one they need to do. Which I'm going to guess next, and especially because X, Xenoblade Chronicles X. I've been saying X, right? Xenoblade Chronicles X ends on a cliffhanger. So, like, at some point they need to resolve that cliffhanger. You know, we'll see. We'll see if it happens. That's the only one. But yeah. So yeah, after that story trailer, we got the gameplay trailer. The gameplay-wise, it seems to work a lot like 2, right? The combat reminds me a lot of 2. But there are some differences. But yeah, overall, I think the combat still looks very solid. You know, some of the new mechanics I think are very interesting. The whole bit with the robots and like them combining their powers, right, to form basically, I've never seen Evangelion, so whatever those are, that has a lot of potential. I'm gonna focus here for a second. Oh, and look at that, we won. I will take that win. Just did 335 test questions in the span of 2 days. That's wild. 335 test questions. Holy shit. I remember writing it. How long did I write a 20-page paper? I think it was like 48 hours. 20 pages. I might have actually done 2 papers in that time. I don't know. You know, it wasn't this year, but it was last year. Not this semester, but the previous semester. God, it kept me busy. Oh, we got a crown. Cool. So, are we... Oh, we just need to do any race round. So I've gotten all the weekly challenges done. They were all pretty easy. And I've won 3 games so far in the new show. I've still only done a single team game. Dive and survivals, earn gold medals. You know, you slowly work towards those. Let's do some solos, I guess. Sure. Also, did I see... Yes, you did see the Owl House in notifications. I watched the first season of the Owl House, and I'll be talking about it in a little bit. But yeah, I finally... Since I finished She-Ra, I finally sat down and watched the Owl House. I've only seen the first season so far. So, I don't know anything that's happened, like, recently. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the first season in a little bit. I've got some Nintendo news to talk about first. Yeah. Yeah. And I get why everybody loves the Owl House, man. Like, it's so good. Oh, gosh. Yeah. But yeah, so Xenoblade, yeah, they showed the combat, they showed the open world. Xenoblades are open world games. And they use more, like, the combat is not like a Fallout 4. It's more like a traditional RPG. It's not turn-based combat. But, you know, it's more traditional, like a JRPG combat. I couldn't think of anything to compare it to, honestly, other than other Xenoblades. But yeah, it definitely reminds me more of 2 than it does the first one or X. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, and I think the open world looks great. Definitely visually. I know 2 had some problems. Like, the original Xenoblade is a Wii game. And for a Wii game, the Switch port looked right on the Wii in, like, 480p. The game looked great. The Switch port looked really good. And the DS port was fine, you know? Or the 3DS port. The 3DS port worked fine, right? Yeah, Xenoblade games have always, for being on limited hardware, have always looked really good. And yeah, I think the new one looks really good. I know 2 had some frame rate issues, so hopefully the new one doesn't have any frame rate issues, right? Not as, again, I'm willing to let some problems go, as long as, you know, the game's fun and whatnot. Like Fall Guys. Like, if you play Fall Guys on Switch, the beans turn it, like, not your bean, but, like, the other beans turn into slideshows, basically. But, you know, I'm willing to let that go because the game runs perfectly fine, right? I have no actual, like, issues gameplay-wise. It's just that, you know, it's a little slow. Or the beans are just a little off. But yeah, I'm fine with, right, it not looking perfect. As long as, you know, it's fun and it runs well enough. Season 1 and what exists of Season 2 because Disney is big dumb. Yeah, Disney is big dumb. But you know, you can't say gay at Disney. That's why they blocked the bill in Florida. Or that's why they supported the bill. Correction, not that they blocked... I mean, I think they eventually complained about the Don't Say Gay bill, but they supported it first. But yep, you can't say gay at Disney. That's why the Owl House got canceled. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, let's see. Anything else in Xenoblade Chronicles 3? They announced the season pass. So for $30, there's a season pass. It'll be adding new characters, new quests, new challenges, and probably some new story element. I don't know. Xenoblade Chronicles Torna, the Golden Country, which was the DLC for the Xenoblade Chronicles 2, was basically its own game. It was so big that it was basically a brand new game. So there's the potential that this might be its own new game. It also might not be. The only hint we got at what's in this DLC is that we see the new Xenoblade along with Shulk's Monado and Mithra's Blade. Or Pyra's Blade, Pyra's Blade. So if I have to guess, Pyra and Mithra and Smash. Yeah. That's honestly, that's how I learned about Xenoblade from Shulk and Smash, so that's where a lot of people start. They're really good games. At least, again, the first one is. That's the only one I've played. But it's really one of the best games. But yeah, so it looks like the DLC is going to probably be Shulk and Pyra and Mithra, maybe even Rex, showing up in this new game. So that's what the DLC is probably going to be. Which I know the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had a DLC where Shulk... I don't know if it was Torna, but it had a DLC where Shulk showed up. I know there was a DLC where Cosmos, K-O-S-M-O-S, who was the character in Xenogear, showed up. Right now there's no representation of Xenoblade Chronicles X, but who knows, that might show up at some point as well. That's also totally possible. I don't remember if we're supposed to dive or grab. There's something like that. It's called the Aegis, yeah. But yeah, so, and then the final thing in this presentation was the announcement that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 will have amiibo support. Specifically, the Shulk amiibo will turn... I think his name's Noah. I think the new Monado wielding, or the new Xenoblade wielding protagonist is, I think his name's like Noah or something like that. And it will turn his Xenoblade into the Monado. But other than that, that's the only thing we got about the DLC. Also, they might give like helpful items or something. But if I had to bet, the Pyra and Mithra amiibos will also be supported in this game. But those haven't been released yet. So when those do get released, they will probably do something in this new game as well. But yeah, that was the Direct. I think it was like 20 minutes. But everything in it looks really good. It looks like another Xenoblade game. Again, I know 2 had its controversies. I think Xenoblade is a series that has controversies, but the controversies don't like when like Pokemon has controversies, it's right, it usually like, oh, it's like things that like make the game worse, right? Or like these big things people complain about. But when Xenoblade has controversies, it doesn't change the fact that no, the games are still really good. There were problems with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Still doesn't change the fact that supposedly the game is really good. I know people didn't like the music in X, because X had a very weird music style. Didn't change the fact that I think the game is good. God, I wish I'd beaten it. I tried. I really did try. I put like 60 hours into it, I think. I put like 60 hours. But, you know, these are 100-hour RPGs, so... Other than Steve, you don't think you've played any of the Smash Bros. DLC? I've played... Honestly, I think the only Smash Bros. DLCs I haven't played are the fighting game ones. Terry and Kazuma? It's Kazuma, right? I mean, technically I haven't played Banjo-Kazooie, but I've played Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, so that technically counts. Oh, I haven't played Persona 5. Okay, wait, I'm trying to think of all the Smash Bros. DLC. I haven't played Persona 5. I've played Dragon Quest 11. I've played Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I've played... I haven't played King of Fighters. Is it Kazuya? Yeah. I've played a Fire Emblem game, but I haven't played Three Houses. I've actually been thinking about playing Three Houses recently. With the new game with Three Hopes coming out, what, Friday, when it came out last week? Or this week, I guess? Came out yesterday. I've been thinking about it. I've played Violet. I've played ARMS. I played Minecraft. I played Xenoblade 2. I have not played Tekken, Kazuya. And I've played the first Kingdom Hearts. So I think I've played more of the games than I haven't. I know I haven't played Final Fantasy VII. Okay, boom, there. So of the 11 DLC fighters, I haven't played 5 of them. The other 6 I have, though, I think. That sounds right. That sounds right to me. Yeah. Kazuya, I liked Kazuya. You know, he was pretty good. I like Terry more, personally, between the two. Because I think it's very easy to compare the two. Yeah, I like Terry more, but yeah, Kazuya was fine. He's broken. I know there's a lot of talk right now in the Smash Bros. Community about banning Steve. Right? That people are really mad at Steve. And they want him banned. Because of how broken he supposedly is. I don't know. I don't really keep up with that stuff anymore. Because I haven't played competitive Smash in years. But I know that's a thing that's going on. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. Alright, there we go. Steve isn't even top 10. I don't know. Then I've just heard a lot of people complaining about banning him. I don't know why, but that's something I've been hearing about recently. I don't know. I haven't played Smash Bros. In a while. Honestly, since I completed every spirit, since I got every spirit, I haven't touched Smash Bros. It is mostly a joke. Huh. Oh, I was listening to... Chances are it's not going to happen. Yeah, probably not. I mean... I was listening to something about Street Fighter 6. Because, you know, people did the demo for Street Fighter 6. And I was listening to something on that. And it was very interesting. Because I guess part of the design philosophy on Street Fighter 6 is that they want the game to be more accessible for new players. So they're, like, completely reworking, like, the combo system, right? You know how, like, in most fighting games that aren't Smash Bros, you have to, like, you know, press certain button combinations, or you have to, like, twist the stick in certain ways? Well, I guess Street Fighter 6 is, like, changing that. And, like, oh, do you want to do Hadouken? Oh, you can just, instead of, like, inputting the certain, like, button combination and tilting the stick in the right direction, you can just press triangle instead. It's not going to work for every move, but, like, certain moves, yeah, you can just press a button to do them. Which, I mean, for skilled players, not much is going to change. But for unskilled players, the game now just has become, like, way more accessible. Which I actually really like. I think that's a really great idea. To, you know, make the game more accessible for new players. That sounds like a really good idea to me. So I'm all in favor of this. Oh my gosh, we actually won another one. Hero was banned for a little bit, but it's at the start after his release. But yeah, you know, they're making Street Fighter 6 more accessible. And because the only fighting game I play is Smash Bros. Because Smash Bros. Is very accessible. So the idea of them, you know, making these changes and making Street Fighter more accessible means I might actually play the new Street Fighter. I might. I don't know. Nothing's set in stone, but it's definitely got me thinking about it, you know? So let's see. For our next news... So we only really have 2 main news stories tonight. And for our next one... So the ESRB put out that they have officially done ESRB ratings for 2 new games. The first one is... Oh gosh, it's Valkyria Elysium, I think? That sounds right in my head. Valkyria Elysium. I'm trying to find it. I had it written down somewheres. Yeah, here it is. Valkyria Elysium by Square Enix. I think Valkyria Elysium is the sequel to, is one of the sequels to Valkyria Chronicles, I think. I want to say, yeah, because there was Valkyria Chronicles 4, I think was the most recent one, if I remember correctly. I don't know, it's been a while. I think they're related. This action game, players assume the role of a Valkyrie, tasked with finding the purifying lost souls from a third-person perspective. Maybe this is just some other RPG. Maybe it's not Valkyria Chronicles. I don't know. You could have fooled me. Players use melee weapons. Yeah, maybe they have nothing in common. Because wasn't Valkyria Chronicles about, like, where you lived in, like, oh gosh, you're from, like, the United Empires, and you're a bunch of, like, anime children fighting off, Schmermany and, Blade Off Blitler or something like that. It's basically Anime Girl World War II. Right? Like, it's World War II in everything but name. Or, that's what I remember Valkyria Chronicles being. I might be wrong about that. I might be thinking of a different game. But that sounds right in my head, for the first one anyways. So maybe Valkyria Elysium has nothing to do with that. It's a Square Enix game, though. But yeah, that got rated by the ESRB. And the other game that got rated by the ESRB is Skull and Bones. So Skull and Bones is a Ubisoft game. Most made-up names I've ever heard. Schmermany. Yeah, well, because that's the type of game Valkyria Chronicles was, if I remember. Again, I know there was a game where it was anime school children in World War II. And I want to say, and it was something stupid like that. Like, it was like Schmermany and like Badolf Mittler or something like that. Unlike Advanced Wars, that was entirely a metaphor for Russia. Like, that's part of the reason Advanced War got delayed after the Ukraine invasion, was because the villains in the first Advanced War game are like Russia, right? They're like a metaphor for Russia, right? Like, that's a whole thing in that game. If I remember, I've never played Advanced Wars, but yeah. It's something like that. But yeah, so that game got rated, and then the other one that got rated was Skull and Bones. So I know, right, fuck Ubisoft, the company that mentally and physically abused their employees. But back when Skull and Bones was revealed, I was so excited for it. Because the pirate stuff was the best part of Assassin's Creed 3. And Assassin's Creed 4 is the best, which is the pirate game, is the best game in the series. So them doing a pirate spin-off in the same style as Assassin's Creed 4, I was so excited. This was, 2018? So 4 years ago? Maybe even longer than that. I remember being so excited for Skull and Bones. And then it went into development hell, and we haven't seen it in 4 years. And yeah, and now Ubisoft is a terrible fucking company that mentally and physically abuses its employees. So yeah, I'd never pick it up. But I was so excited for this game. There's no way Skull and Bones is good, right? Like, with it being in development hell for the past 4 or 5 years, there's no way it turns out good. And even if it did, I wouldn't be picking it up. But yeah, I remember when it was revealed, I was so excited. I think I streamed that E3. I think that was either the first or one of the first E3s I ever streamed. And yeah, I just remember being so excited for it. And then it just kept getting delayed, and at some point I was worried they were going to turn it into like an always online game, you know, and just completely ruin it. I don't know if that, again, that might still be happening, because fuck Ubisoft, but yeah, it's finally coming out, I guess, so yeah, that's a thing that's happening. But the whole reason I'm bringing this up, at least the Ubisoft part, is Ubisoft is one of the only companies that usually does an E3 showcase that just straight up didn't do one this year. Right? They didn't do anything this year, which is actually kind of surprising, you know? They didn't do anything. They didn't partner up with... Them and Nintendo were the only two studios not partnered up with Summer Games Fest. I mean, even EA, which I think EA still does their, State of Plays, EA Play. I think it's just called EA Play. I think they do those in July, if I remember correctly. So that might still be coming later in the year, or they might have already done some of it. I don't know. Because at some point, Jedi Survive got revealed. But it really surprised me that, yeah, Ubisoft isn't doing anything. And if it wasn't for the fact that so the ESRB said it's on Windows PC, Xbox Series, it just says Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and Stadia. So it's Skull and Bones is not on Switch. But if it was on Switch, I would assume we would see it at the upcoming Nintendo Direct. Honestly, if it was going to be on Switch, I would assume it would be at the upcoming Nintendo Direct. But yeah, that's really the only reason I'm bringing it up, is because, yeah, Ubisoft... Because I fully expect to see Mario + Rabbids Sparks of Hope at the Nintendo Direct on Tuesday. Or at least it's rumored to be Tuesday. I fully expect that. Yeah. Mario Kart Wave 2 should be coming out soon. Yeah, that's the hope. I really do hope that they shadow drop Wave 2 at the Nintendo Direct. Like, hey, later today, play Wave 2 of the Mario Kart DLC. That'd be really cool. I love Mario Kart so much. Would have loved Mario Kart 9, but I'll take what I can get, you know? But I guess that brings us into our next thing. So with the Nintendo Direct coming up, rumored to be either Thursday Tuesday or Wednesday. It's rumored to be either the 28th or the 29th. Which, it's kind of interesting that there's not like a rumored solid date. That right now it's one of those two dates. It's also kind of interesting that it hasn't been revealed yet. It might be revealed as early as tomorrow. They might just shadow drop it. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's some good Mario Karting. Getting gold parts and everything. And yeah. Yeah, I've got 3 stars in every cup. It's so fun. But yeah, so there's the rumored Nintendo Direct. So I guess there's been a lot of... So around this Nintendo Direct, there have been a lot of rumors. And I've compiled a bunch of them. So I have a lot of rumors to talk about. I don't know how many, if any of these are true. But I'm just going to give a generic spoiler warning right now. Because there's a possibility that everything I'm about to talk about is true. But there's also the possibility that everything I'm about to talk about could be completely false. So, yeah, here's your general spoiler warning if you give a shit, because this might ruin the entire Nintendo Direct. So there is a rumor that the Nintendo Direct will be mostly third-party related. And yeah, that's totally possible, that we get primarily third-party games. But And I've got like 2 or 3 listed down here that are currently rumored. But yeah, that was one of the things which did get people speculating, like, oh, are they just going to shadow drop this Nintendo Direct? Because it's not a Nintendo Direct, but instead a partner showcase. Which, right, all this Nintendo build up. And could you imagine them just dropping a, like, 10-minute partner showcase? Oh my god, the world would explode. I mean, the world's already exploding around us, so what's the same difference? No, I think, and you know, it's funny, even Jeff Keighley, when they announced the Xenoblade Chronicles Direct, he said that, like, oh, so Nintendo is splitting their Direct up into 2 parts this year, hinting that, hey, yeah, there's going to be a full-fledged Nintendo Direct. And part of the reason we got the Xenoblade Chronicles Direct this week is so that way, during the actual Nintendo Direct, there wouldn't be a 10-15 minute segment on Xenoblade. Instead, they're probably not even going to mention Xenoblade at the upcoming Nintendo Direct, which I'm sure will make a lot of people happy, because there are some people who get super fucking pissed whenever an anime game is shown at a Nintendo Direct. I mean, there are people who get pissed if not 100% of the games at Nintendo Direct don't appeal to them. Because Nintendo fans are gluttons who would not be satisfied with all the riches of heaven. Trust me, I know. I am one of them. Nah. I mean, I'm a Nintendo fan, but I'm not that bad. But yeah, so the rumors are all that it's next week, and yeah, or, you know, Tuesday. And I think that's very likely. I think the highest possibility is that that's true. The Nintendo Direct will be Tuesday. And yeah, it's going to cover third-party games, but, you know, there'll probably be some first-party stuff. Specifically, I think, getting more specific, it's going to cover games that are coming out in the summer and fall this year. So it's, like, specifically focused around, like, that window. Which makes sense. They start the Direct, Shadow Drop Wave 2, refuse to elaborate farther. Yeah, so the rumors are... So the first thing I got here is Wario Land. Will you be streaming it? Yeah, of course I will be streaming it. Like, yeah, of course I will. I mean, I streamed Jeff Keighley's boring Games Fest, so yeah, of course I'll be streaming Nintendo. Yeah. So yeah, there's a rumor that there's a Wario Land game coming out. So right, we got WarioWare, and so the rumor is Wario Land. Some sort of... Because I think the last Wario Land game was Wario Land Shake It on the Wii. So it's been a long time. So a new Wario Land, that'd be cool. You know, I'd love to see more... I hear people really like the Wario Land games. If I remember correctly, people really liked Wario Land Shake It. I think. That sounds right in my head. So a new Wario Land would be really cool. Also, I don't have it on this list, but we're definitely going to see Everybody Want to Switch here. Like, that's something that I can guarantee you will be at this Nintendo showcase, is Everybody Want to Switch. So I'm just going to say that right now. But yeah, a new Wario Land. Okay, cool. That's a series that hasn't gotten a game in 10, 15-ish years. So it makes sense to get a new one. Another game that hasn't got a game in 10 or 15 years is Endless Ocean. Endless Ocean was a Wii game. It was a first-party Nintendo game that was, you know, about exploring an ocean. I want to say, honestly, I've never played Endless Ocean. I think my only experience with the franchise is, I want to say Game Grumps played it at one point. Other than that, I've never played Endless Ocean. Yeah, I think Game Grumps played it. Because that's where because I remember, oh gosh, what was the big joke? It was the popsicle joke from that? No, the popsicle joke was something else. That was a different game. But yeah, Endless Ocean is a whole game. It's, you know, it's a Nintendo game. It's about exploring the ocean. It was on the Wii. And yeah, because there's been rumors of like a new 1080 snowboarding game, or a new, oh gosh, what's that game called? 1080 snowboarding, or it's called, it's a jet ski game. It's a jet ski game. It's not Endless Ocean is not a jet ski game. But there's a Nintendo jet ski game on the N64 that people really like. And people have been waiting for it to come, the series to come back for a long time now. And we might now actually finally get it. But there's not rumor, it's just more that's like, oh, I remember there was some rumor about a new 1080 snowboarding game. Not this jet ski one. But people have been wanting it for a long time now. I don't remember what the jet ski game is called. Oh my gosh, I don't remember. I have no idea. But yeah, a new Endless Ocean. Next up, there is a rumor of a new Tingle game. You know, the Legend of Zelda character Tingle? Yeah. So as we know, Nintendo wants to put out a new Zelda game every year, and with Breath of the Wild being delayed, they're probably gonna, it hasn't been rumored, kind of. At least not, everybody want to Switch. I don't have it on this list. But, you know, there has been talks of putting Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on Switch. And that's going to be the Zelda game this year. But yeah, there's a rumor of a new Tingle game. So there were 2 Tingle games on DS that never released in North America. And only, they were recently, ROM exported. I'm talking 3 years ago now. So yeah, we might get a Tingle game. Either one of the older ones or a brand new one. We might get a brand new Tingle game. Which would be crazy. Because again, none of the previous 2 games, Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. I don't remember what the other one was called. I know one was Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. Never came out in North America. But we might actually get a Tingle game. Anything is possible. So yeah, that's rumored, because I think the studio, or the studio that did Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, which I think is called Vippy, if I remember correctly, it's something like that, haven't put out a game in a while. So this might be their new, this is what they might have been working on. A new Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. I think the studio was Vippy. Vippy. I don't know, I'd have to look into it more. But it's something like that. Yeah, a new Tingle game. I didn't even know Tingle got a game. Yeah, he got 2, but they never came out in North America, so... They're fully translated into English as well. That's the other crazy... Kind of like, again, Xenoblade. Xenoblade was translated into English, but never released in North America until there was, a big push to do so. And yeah, Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land just never got put out in North America. But you can find it on ROMs, so... Yeah. Next up, so Breath of the Wild 2 is rumored to be titled Depth of the Wild. And on top of, being able to fly around, the trailer shows all these sky islands. There's also going to be an underground component. So you'll both be exploring the air above Hyrule and the ground beneath it. And then there's a whole other, the title is multifaceted. So there's this whole other aspect that Depth of the Wild is it has something to do with the story as well. But yeah, so I think Depth of the Wild is a fine name. It's not one of the best I've heard, but I think it's fine. So yeah, I'm excited to see more. I honestly don't think we will see much of it at the Nintendo Direct, but whatever we see, I hope it's good. I want it to be good. I'm sure they'll probably wait until I'm still expecting it to fully have a March 2023 release date. That is fully what I expect. But it looks I want it to be good, right? Just adding the sky stuff is already very interesting. So adding underground as well is gonna be very cool. Okay, we need to gain some height. We're losing distance here. Oh, come on. No, we're out. Yeah, that was not. I couldn't get forwards any. Yeah, let's collect our reward. Yeah, I think Depth of the Wild's a fine title. Next up is Mario Kart 2 DLC. So Mario Kart, the DLC Wave 2 will be coming, and it will have a primary focus on GameCube maps. So I could see, it'd be really cool if we got GameCube Rainbow Road. Because GameCube Rainbow Road's pretty, it's an interesting Rainbow Road. The best one is still Mario Kart 7's, but, you know, I remember GameCube Rainbow Road being good. It'd be cool to see Waluigi Pinball. Of course, everybody knows that's the best Mario Kart level ever. And, I mean, that's partially a joke, but it's also partially true. It'd be cool to see that, but, yeah, we're supposedly going to get Wave 2, which is going to come. And, yeah, I could totally see that as a Shadow Drop. I think a Shadow Drop would make perfect sense, that it comes out the same day. Because the last DLC came out in... I want to say it was March, but it might have been May. I kind of don't remember. You want the Blue Shell Cup to be 4 Rainbow Roads? Yeah, I think an entire Rainbow Road Cup would be very cool. Yeah. There's... What other game... Gosh. See, honestly, the only other GameCube tracks I can think of are... is it Toad's Turnpike? The one where you're on where you drive over the bridge, and in the DS game you race Wiggler on that level. Crap, I don't remember what the level is, but I think that would make sense. I know that's a GameCube map. Baby Park's already in the game. I honestly can't think of that many GameCube tracks. Ugh. Which is, again, why I say Rainbow Road, but... Yeah, no, GameCube tracks would make sense. You know, like it having a focus on that. Also related to GameCube. So it's not... I don't remember what it's called. It's not Toad's Turnpike. But there's a level where you race... Where it ends with you going over a bridge. And you can actually... At least in the original GameCube game, you can actually drive up and down the bridge. I don't think it's it's definitely not Mushroom Gorge. Even though I'm surprised Mushroom Gorge... I don't think Mushroom Gorge is in Mario Kart 8. Maybe that would make that would make sense to add that one as well. I don't remember what the level's called, but it's... I want to say it's Toad something. Toad Valley. It's something along those lines. Moonlight Highways, I think that's a Wii track, but it's very similar to that one. Because there's also, like Toad's Turnpike, there's cars driving on the level. But it's a pretty... I remember it being a pretty good level. I just hope... Because I know the DS version, you couldn't drive up the bridge. So I hope the new version you can... Right, if they're remaking it for Mario Kart 8, it makes sense for for you to drive up on the bridge. Is it called Shroom Ridge? It might be Shroom Ridge. Or that might also be the Mario Kart 8 level. I want Vancouver Velocity to represent Canada. Yeah, that may... I think a lot of the Mario Kart Tour tracks are pretty much guaranteed, right? Vancouver Velocity, New York Tour, London Tour. I think those are all pretty safe bets. At some point or another. I know some people don't like those tracks. I personally actually kind of liked the Paris one. I think is pretty good. The Tokyo... I like that they changed. That's one of the things I find interesting about them. I like the Paris one. I liked the Tokyo one. Shroom Ridge is also in the... God, what Mario Kart track am I forgetting? If Shroom Ridge is already in the game, what Mario... Give me a second. I wrote it down at some point. Not recently, but I wrote it down at some point. Oops, no, not there. Okay, Mario Kart. Mario Kart game Double Dash courses, Luigi Circuit, Peach Circuit, Baby Park, Dry Dry Desert, Mushroom Bridge, Mario Circuit, Daisy Cruiser, Waluigi Stadium, Sherbert Land, Mushroom City, Yoshi Circuit, DK Mountain, Wario Coliseum, Dino Dino Jungle, Bowser's Castle, and Rainbow Road. I'm assuming the level I was thinking of is Mushroom Bridge. Mushroom Bridge would be a cool addition. Daisy Cruiser. Getting the 3DS version of Daisy Cruiser would make a lot of sense. Because Daisy Cruiser is already a pretty cool track. And I really do like the additions they made with the underwater section in the 3DS version. I thought that was a pretty great addition. So yeah, Daisy Cruiser would also make sense. Yeah, I was like, because I have a list of every Mario Kart track ever made. So I just had to pull that up real quick. Oh, shit. Okay, so speaking of GameCube games, it is also rumored that we might finally be getting GameCube Virtual Console. So right now with the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass, we have N64, but the rumor is we might... and there's also that whole leaked Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulator, which might also be coming at some point. You know, it would make sense for us to get Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. But according to some rumors, we might finally be getting GameCube, specifically Super Smash Bros. Melee. That's in one of the rumors I looked at, they specifically highlighted Super Smash Bros. Melee. So, yeah, you know, I know Melee purists will never be happy, because for a Melee purist, you have to play it on the GameCube, on a CRT, and you have to use a very specific controller, or else you're not playing Melee right. Right? Like, Melee has these very specific conditions to play it, or else you're playing Melee wrong. And that's why I fucking hate Melee. But getting GameCube Virtual Console would be very cool. Getting Double Dash on Virtual Console, that'd be cool. But no, I would love getting Double Dash online. Could you imagine? Melee is the most insane Smash game. Yeah, definitely. Melee has the most insane fans. Need to take showers though. Was it a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament where they gave I don't think they banned players, but they gave players penalties if they had a bad odor. That happened at I think a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. But yeah, it should be Melee. I don't like Melee. I don't like Melee, and I don't like Project M. Man, it's a whole thing with me, you know. I have these, whatever. If you like Melee, that's fine. But yeah, getting some GameCube Virtual Console. Sunshine's again technically already playable on Switch. The first Luigi's Mansion, I'd love to play that again, actually, because I didn't pick up the 3DS version. At least I don't. Did I? No, I don't think I did. I might have, but I don't think I did. I don't know. Near the end of the 3DS's lifespan, I picked up a bunch of random games that I never played. Because, you know, the 3DS was dead. Kind of. But, Luigi's Mansion would be cool. Sunshine, which, again, is already playable on Switch. Eternal Darkness would be really cool. More people should play Eternal Darkness. They'd never do it. They'd never do it. Because Eternal Darkness is dead. But it'd be really cool to get Eternal Darkness on Switch. You know, oh gosh, you know what another game that I want on the Switch Virtual Console? That probably won't happen for like, if they do GameCube games, it wouldn't happen for like a year. But the first Chibi Robo. I would love to play the first Chibi Robo game again. Oh, that Vippy studio, you know, that's making the new Tingle game. They're the studio that did Chibi Robo Ziplash. I don't know if they worked on the other Chibi Robo games, but I know they did Ziplash. Can I tell you a weird Melee story? Like how Luigi's dash attack does have a final hitbox rendering, and it does like 6% and does 0 knockback. Yeah, Melee's weird. That's definitely Melee. But, I mean, I know, again, if Melee fans weren't so insane, I would probably be a lot kinder to Melee, but Melee fans are just... Ugh, they drive me up a wall. What other GameCube games? I guess Star Fox Assault? Is it Assault or is it Command? I think it's Assault. Yeah, maybe... I'm trying to think of other GameCube games. Double Dash, Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion. Mark's hand grab is longer than Yoshi's extendable tongue. Yep. Melee. Oh, you know what would be really good? Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Or is it Radiant Dawn? Whichever one came first. Because that game is, again, that game's like $1,000 to buy a copy. So having it accessible would be very nice. So that way more people... Because I've been saying that game should get a remake for a long time now. But yeah, that would make Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Pokemon Coliseum and XD. Pokemon Coliseum and XD are underrated. They're not like the best Pokemon games ever, but they're just very forgotten. I don't think they would add them because I don't think N64 has Pokemon Stadium. But they might, you know, they might. And it'd be cool to get N60 Pokemon Bank support for them. Because again, I don't think there was a way to bring Pokemon from XD to Coliseum to like up to modern games. So getting that for the first time ever, there might have been, but I don't think there was. But that would be a really cool get. XD and Coliseum. Hungry Box? Isn't he a player? There's so many other GameCube games I'm just forgetting. Oh, Mario Party 6. I don't think any Mario Party games are on N64 Online. They should be. But Mario Party 6 is the best Mario Party game. And I would love to see that on GameCube Virtual Console. Because it's the best one. Yeah, that'd be amazing. But yeah, so that's GameCube Virtual Console. Next up is... Oh, it also... I don't have it on here, and there's no rumors of it. I think it would make sense for Mario Kart Superstars... Or Mario Party Superstars. Did I say Mario Party? Was I saying Mario? I don't know. Mario Party 6 is the best game. But it would make sense for Mario Party Superstars to get DLC. It's never happened before. A Mario Party game has never gotten DLC. But I think this is the first time... Well, again, except for Super Mario Party's online multiplayer. But other than that, you know, and I kind of don't count that one as traditional DLC. That's kind of its own thing. But it would be really cool if Mario Party Superstars got DLC. Because there's still a lot of levels from the first 3 Mario Party games that aren't in Superstars. So I would love for that game to get some DLC. Hungry Box is ranked #1 of all Melee players. Okay. He's not... Hungry Box isn't one of the pedophiles, right? I know the Smash community kind of exploded a few years ago with all the pedophiles. I think that was... God, was that... Time has become so broken in quarantine. I couldn't tell you if that was last year or if that was like 3 years ago. Where, like, yeah, a bunch of major players got outed. The worst player of 64 is Jigglypuff. I main Jigglypuff in 64. I mostly do it as a joke, but... Because I've only played 64, like, twice, but, yeah. He reacts to Smash stuff. No, he's actually pretty chill. Okay, that's good to hear. That's good. Again, I used to play competitive Smash back in, like, 2014. That was a long time ago. It was actually 2015. But, yeah. Jigglypuff in 64, Melee is Bowser, Brawl is Ganon, 4 is Little Mac, and Ultimate is Gadded. I did, with all this talk, right, again, I heard all this talk about, banning Steve. Someone made a joke about how, like, if the Smash community banned every character they had a complaint about, and it was just all the roster was banned except for Ganon. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah. Tie between Jigglypuff and Link, yeah. Yeah, I've only played like Smash 64 twice, and of the 2 times I did Jigglypuff as like a joke. Because, you know, I don't really care for Smash 64's roster. I don't think Smash 64 has that good of a roster. Link, because he can't recover for the life of him in Jigglypuff, because he can defend himself and dies at like 4%. Yeah. The next rumor is Portal Companion Edition. So I'm pretty sure... I thought Portal 2 was already on Switch. Maybe it's not. I might be wrong, but I thought it already was. But there's rumored of Portal Companion Edition, which might be Portal, like a collection of Portal 1 and 2. But the rumor with this game, what makes this Portal Companion Edition special, is that the colors of the Portal change depending on the color of your Joy-Cons. So if you're using neon red and blue Joy-Cons, your Portal color will be the neon red and blue. Right? That's part of the rumor behind this. Is that, yeah, the Portal colors change like, if you're using, like, the full gray Joy-Cons, you know, the Portal will still be, like, the default colors, the blue and orange. But yeah, if you're using, like, special colored Joy-Cons, the Portals will actually change colors to match your Joy-Cons. And I think that's actually really, that's just a really neat idea. Right? That sounds like a lot of fun. You know, sucks that I no longer I had purple and green Joy-Cons, but the purple one no longer, or pink and green, I mean, but the pink one no longer reads as pink because I sent it in for repairs, and when it came back, it now reads as a gray Joy-Con. But yeah, but I think, right, that idea of, like, different colored Joy-Cons, I've seen stuff like that in other Switch games, and I always it's a little neat thing. But no, Portal 1 and 2, Portal is, like, the perfect game, and Portal 2 is really good. The best character in every game in Smash 64 is Pikachu, Melee is Marth, or Fox. I would say Fox, but yeah. Brawl is Meta Knight, yep. Smash 4 is Bayonetta. Yep, that makes sense. And Smash Ultimate is Pikachu. Really? Pikachu is best in Ultimate? I wouldn't have guessed that, but... Huh. Interesting. Yeah, out of every character, I wouldn't have guessed Pikachu. Again, I've literally just been hearing people complain about Steve. So that's... Like, I wouldn't have guessed he was best, but... Yeah. I remember people complaining about Bayonetta. Joker I can see as best character. That one I can see. Yeah, I remember people complaining about Bayonetta. Oh, boy. I started learning Bayonetta just because I knew it would piss people off. Was never very good at Bayonetta, but I started doing it as a joke. Same thing, the one time I played Blue Blaze. Same thing. I learned the OP broken character just because it pissed people off. Blue Blaze was okay. Not my style, but it was okay. Speaking of Joker, so earlier this month, Persona 3, 4, and 5 were announced to be coming to Xbox in Steam. But everyone was like, why aren't they coming to Switch? Well, the rumor is that, yes, they are coming to Switch. It's just Nintendo was waiting for their own showcase to announce it. So yeah, we're probably in this Nintendo Direct, they're going to reveal Persona 5 coming to Switch. Because it is the most requested Switch game. So yeah. I can see Persona 5, I can see Persona 3 and 4 as well. It just makes sense. You know, there's a lot of money to be made by releasing Persona on other consoles and ending PlayStation's exclusivity deal. And with future Persona games as well. I think Atlus has finally realized that, And I think it's going to happen. I said it at the Xbox showcase. It's going to happen. It's just Nintendo's going to do it on their own terms. And yeah, Pikachu mainly because of his recovery, the tiny hitbox, the amazing air movement, and the powerful kills, the pancake, and the list goes on. Yeah. I just wouldn't have expected it, honestly. Out of all the characters, Pikachu. Okay. Yeah, so Persona. But yeah, so Persona, it just makes sense. The rumor that came out today that I wrote down probably like an hour before we started was Red Dead Redemption 2 might be coming to Switch, which blows my mind because if I had guessed any Rockstar game would be coming to Switch, I would have guessed GTA 5. It blows my mind that GTA 5 still is on Switch. Like, GTA 5 should have been announced on Switch the same time as Overwatch. Right? Back in, 2019? It never happened. So, it would blow my mind if Red Dead Redemption 2 would come to Switch. But I could also totally see it. I mean, The Witcher 3 came to Switch, Literally anything is possible. So I could see Red Dead Redemption 2. But yeah, I guess around the time the GTA trilogy was coming out last year, there were someone had heard rumors of Red Dead Redemption 2 being a Switch port being worked on. And yeah. Is Red Dead Redemption 2 on Steam? I kind of don't remember. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, I don't know how good. It definitely wouldn't look as good, because I know Red Dead Redemption 2 looks very good. So I don't know if it would look as good, but I could see it coming to Switch. I probably won't pick it up on Switch, but I could see it happening. I just find it weird that it would happen before GTA 5. We could always get both, right? We could get... And part of the reason I think they've never put GTA 5 on Switch is because of GTA Online. That Rockstar only cares about GTA Online, and GTA Online is probably a much harder sell on Switch. So that's maybe why they never did it. But yeah, it just blows my mind that Red Dead Redemption 2 might come first. But yeah, that was a rumor that everyone was talking about today. Next up... So most of the rumors I've talked about for the past, half hour... have mostly, probably a good 90% of them have come from a single source. But I bring that all into question because one of the things they've been talking about is that we're going to see Pikmin 4. There's not I know there was all those talks about, Miyamoto confirmed Pikmin 4 is in development. Pikmin 4 was Hey Pikmin. I know some people are like, he said it after Hey Pikmin came out as well. He said it before and after Hey Pikmin's release. Doesn't matter. I don't buy for a second that Pikmin 4 is coming out. So yeah, honestly, most of these things I've talked about have been, relatively safe. Right? Even giving Breath of the Wild a name. But Pikmin 4, I don't believe it. And honestly, if all of this turns out to be fake, I'm going to cite Pikmin 4. It's just, I would love it. And I want to say, I'm not saying because I don't want it to happen. I love Pikmin. Pikmin's 1, 2, and 3 are so good. And Pikmin 2 has problems, but it's still really good, right? I still really enjoy it, even though it's got problems. And the first one hasn't, the first two haven't aged perfectly. But, Pikmin 3 is such a good game, and I love this. I played the Switch port, loved the Switch port, was super excited, for this Pikmin 4, but I just don't think it's going to happen. The rumor, as it goes, is that, Pikmin 4 is coming out, and the new gimmick is something called a fluid Pikmin, which is a Pikmin made entirely out of liquid. So they're going to be a water Pikmin, a lava Pikmin, an acid Pikmin. Yeah, fluid Pikmin is the new gimmick. I don't think it's going to happen. Honestly, if one thing makes me think these rumors are fake, it's this. There's no way Pikmin 4 happens. No, not a chance in hell. I would love it, but no. But that's the rumor. And then the final rumor is, if you remember, at the last Nintendo Direct, there was a rumor of a new Donkey Kong game. And it looks like that new Donkey Kong game will finally... Again, if this rumor is to be believed, this new Donkey Kong game is finally coming out. And it will be called Donkey Kong City. So yeah, it's called Donkey Kong City. And to read from the rumor... Yeah, and it's directed by Nintendo EDP. The game starts off in 1999 with K. Rool planning his return immediately after Donkey Kong 64. With the help of a mysterious new character that can control time, he is able to look into the future. He sees DK and his friends haven't had an adventure in years. K. Rool believes 2022. DK... Did I say... Yeah, it's called Donkey Kong City, right? I've been saying that. Sometimes streaming is like driving. You know, you just go into autopilot and you forget what you say. So I always hope I'm saying it right, but, you know, you just don't know. Donkey Kong City. Which, wasn't there... Is there... I mean, there is a new Donk City, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I mean, and I get it, right? Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong City. Okay, that makes sense. Donkey Kong and his friends, right? K. Rool believes 2022. DK will be less experienced and easier to defeat than in 1999. DK, oh yeah. K. Rool travels to 2022, but something goes wrong. Donkey Kong Island gets warped in time. Different periods merge into one. One area is a realistic city, but with traditional jungle elements like vines scrambled in. The game is fully 3D, but in a new format for the series. So I don't know if that means it's a... Like, when they say fully 3D, I don't know if it means like a 3D, 2D platformer, or if it's fully 3D like Donkey Kong 64. It makes me think it's the latter. What I do find interesting is that with this whole being Donkey Kong City, it does remind me a lot of the new Kirby game, because the new Kirby game also took place in like this ruined city, so they're doing like a jungle city. K. Rool, you don't want to travel to 2022? That's right. Honestly, the opening of this plot reminds me a lot of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, where, right, after having not done anything in like after not having a game released in like 10 years, someone's like, oh, well, now Banjo is at his weakest point, so so the master of games brings back Grunty, right, to face him, and that's where you get the whole Cars aspect from. Honestly, it does remind me a lot of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, just based on this description. But yeah, it doesn't say whether it's a 3D game or, right, 2.5D. I don't like the phrase 2.5D. It's never been a phrase I liked, but yeah, I guess it doesn't say. If I had to guess, I would say it's a full 3D game, like Mario Odyssey, like Donkey Kong 64. Hopefully it's not as much of a collectathon as Donkey Kong 64, which is a fucking nightmare. At least how they executed it, you know? If with just a few changes, Donkey Kong 64 would be a lot more tolerable, but those changes are not going to happen unless the game is fully remade. Then they probably fix it, but that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, a new Donkey Kong game made by Nintendo EDP makes sense. I can see that totally happening. Yeah, it's been again, I still think it would make sense to do Super Mario Odyssey 2. We're DQing from this round. We're getting eliminated. I'm doing terribly right now. But yeah, it would make sense for a new Donkey Kong game. It's been heavily rumored. But I still think Mario Odyssey would make sense, but I mean, they could do both, but I doubt it. But yeah, and that's the last rumor. Again, the Nintendo Direct is supposedly Tuesday. Much of a completionist I am. Yeah, Donkey Kong 64 is a nightmare for completionist stuff. I'm so glad I'm just, when playing through Fallout 4 right now, I'm just completely ignoring it. Right? I'm like, I could, like, totally go. Like, occasionally I'll get an achievement, and I'm like, I could, but that sounds like a fucking nightmare, so no, I'm not gonna do it. But yeah. So yeah, that's all of the Nintendo Direct rumors. And that's on top of, like, everything else we expect to see there. You know, I don't expect to see Xenoblade, because it just got its own Direct. But Splatoon 3's Battle Royale mode, totally expect to see it. We actually got new images of Splatoon today, and they revealed Pearl and Marina's new outfits. It looks like Pearl and, based on the tweet, which do I have it? Do I have the new tweet? Let me see if I have it real quick. So Squid Research Lab Musicology Department here with breaking news about Off the Hook, which is Pearl and Marina's band. While on tour, the band seems to have scouted a few new members and reformed as an act calling itself Damp Socks, featuring Off the Hook. Stay tuned for exclusive access to their new hot single. And yeah, their new song is called Candy Coated Rocks. I feel like Damp Socks is a reference to something else in Splatoon. Like, the name, it reminds me of Earthbound as well. But yeah, I feel like Damp Socks is a reference to something. It's a very weird name. But yeah, Pearl and Marina got new outfits. And they look so good. I love Marina's outfit so fucking much. And yeah, I really like Pearl and Marina. But I do think they're not going to be the radio hosts of the new Splatoon game. I think, or the announcers. So I think they're going to bring in somebody new. But yeah, this is what we know, right? Callie and Marie are doing something with the story. This is what Pearl and Marina are up to. And I'm sure we'll get somebody brand new. Again, assuming they bring back the announcer, which it's Splatoon. Nintendo, when they have a weird fucking idea, they stick to it. You're going to head out now? Okay, well, I'll see you around, Crispy Potatoes. Maybe for the Nintendo Direct in a few days. Because I'll be here. You know I will be. Nope. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm still going for probably another hour, because I still got a lot. Even though I'm done with news, I still got other shit to talk about. But yeah, there's tons of other stuff that I expect to see in this Nintendo Direct, Yeah, there's tons of stuff. There's tons of stuff. Pikmin 4 is not one of them. Not a chance in hell. Yeah. I mean, I'd honestly expect a new Star Fox game before I'd expect Pikmin 4. God, it'd be cool, though. God, I want to play Pikmin 3 again. Yeah. But yeah, so Pearl Marina, Splatoon, Battle Royale mode just makes sense. I think it's inevitable. What else? I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm forgetting right now. I'm sure they'll announce like a Splatoon-focused Direct as well. That just makes sense for Splatoon to get its own Direct. Gosh dang it, we're doing terrible. Yeah, there's other stuff that I'm just forgetting. Again, probably some third-party stuff as well. I don't know. And see, okay, so we failed on the first show, and we got 24 experience. If I remember correctly, in the old version, when you fail in the first show, you used to get 30 experience, which is only a 6-point difference. But it can, if you keep adding it up, like, over shows, that 6 points actually can become a major difference. Again, I could be wrong, but I want to say when you failed, you only got 30. So yeah, you now get 6 XP less, now that the game's gone free to play. Again, I could be totally wrong. So I guess let's get into WIBE. So what have I been enjoying? We'll save TV for the end. But, we'll save the Owl House and Miss Marvel. So I sat down with VR, and I finally played Rick and Morty VR, right? Because I'd been meaning to play it, and I had, like, started it, but I was having, like, problems with, like, the PlayStation camera, but I did some adjusting, and it works better now. Rick and Morty VR was fun. I definitely wasn't, like, blown away by it. Like, it's definitely a little bit more, like, open. Because Alchemy Labs, who did Rick and Morty VR, also did Job Simulator. And yeah, I was definitely way more... Like, Job Simulator was definitely more of, like, the experience that I, like, really enjoyed with VR. Whereas, because it's more, like, a little bit more open, instead of being, like, Job Simulator was, like, all these, like, controlled environments, Rick and Morty was a little bit more open, but, you know, that same vibe. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't blown away by it. I will say that. But yeah, I beat that. You know, I played it. It took me like, I don't know, like an hour or two to beat it. But then I also messed around with some of the other stuff. Like I did, there's like these tapes to collect. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go find some of these tapes. You know, play a bunch of Troy. Finding the tapes did not go that well, actually, for me. I was able to... There's like 13 tapes. I found 6. I have no idea where to get the other 6. So that's something that I'm like, okay, I've looked in all... There's not that many places... I mean, you're in one garage. There's not that many places to go. There's not that many places to hide these tapes. But yeah, I've only been able to find, like... I found the one in the bathroom. I found the one hidden on the wall. I got the one outside. I ordered the one off the computer. I got the one for playing Troy. I do wonder if... I was like, oh, is there one hidden on, like, the alien world? For some reason, I thought there was one hidden on the satellite, but nope. So, yeah, I didn't find anything there. But yeah, I just, you know, I had some fun playing the Rick and Morty VR. The challenge where you have to, like, flip the levers to charge the battery... I got my freaking ass kicked. That challenge is so fucking hard. Right? Because for an achievement, you have... Again, being a completionist, that I'm not. But, you know, every once in a while, it's nice to get all the achievements. I got all the achievements in Job Simulator. For Rick and Morty VR, you have to kill 100 bugs, and you have to get the battery up to 100. I can't do either. I can't get bugs past, like, 50... And I don't think I could get battery past 50 either. I think battery I got stuck at like 40. God, I tried. Again, I need to play it more, but I tried. And, you know, there's a bunch of other, like, random achievements and whatnot. But it's not bad. You know, I get why Valve bought Alchemy Labs, because they're pretty good at what they do. And I do have their other game, Job Simulator, or Vacation Simulator. Because, yeah, I think Vacation Simulator, they put out... I want to say after they got bought by Valve, but, like, they were working on it in that period, like, when they got bought out. And I haven't touched it yet, but I saw it was on sale, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll pick it up. I like Job Simulator. It was good. So I'll play that, and we'll talk about that at another point. But, yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff to play on VR. I still want to play Astrobot Rescue Mission at some point. But, yeah. VR is neat, man. It's, like, finally having actually, like, used it, I kind of get... Again, I don't like what Facebook is doing with their whole metaverse. That's some apocalyptic shit. And, oh, wow, somebody else with the golden hot dog. Wow, that doesn't happen all that often. That's the first time I've seen that since free-to-play. Cool. That's neat. I'm gonna keep track of that. But, yeah, I've played, yeah, VR I think is just neat, right? I don't trust Facebook. Fuck Facebook. They are the evil supervillain corporation planning to destroy the world and just put us all in VR, right? Like, Facebook fucking sucks. Their metaverse, terrible. They changed their name to make them sound less evil, because everybody knows Facebook is evil. But hey, we're called Meta now, so we're not evil. Facebook is fucking evil. Yeah, no, Facebook is fucking evil. But yeah, PlayStation VR has been fun. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4, right? That's been when I'm not like I've also been playing a lot of Fall Guys, you know, but that's just slowly grinding away at this, right? Getting a level or two a day, you know, slowly just grinding away. But when I've not been playing Fall Guys or Minecraft, well, I've kind of waned off Minecraft, but I'll explain that in a minute. I've been playing, you know, a lot of Fallout 4. You know, I've just been going around, stomping around the Commonwealth. I do story elements, like, if I'm, like, in the area. Like, when I eventually found Diamond City, I was like, oh, I'm in the area. I might as well go talk to, you know, Piper and Nick. Or, you know, talk to Ellie about Nick missing. And then, like, 2 or 3 hours later, I happened to run across Swan's Pond. And I was like, oh, the subway station's right here. I might as well go save Nick. And then the next time I went to back to Diamond City, I was like, oh, okay, Nick, I'll talk to you, and then we can go look at Kellogg's house. And then I killed Kellogg. You know, I went to Fort Hagen. I killed Kellogg. But after you kill Kellogg, you're supposed to, like, check his computer to, like, open the doors. And you take, like, the chip in his brain. But you're also supposed to, like, check his, like, personal log that tells you that the Institute took Sean. And I didn't do that. So later on, I went back to Fort Hagen, you know, just to, like, check the computer again. Because I didn't check, because, like, I opened the doors on the computer, but I didn't check the other, like, file thing. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. So yeah, I had to go back to Fort Hagen to check the computer again. So that was kind of dumb. But yeah, I killed Kellogg. Then, you know, I stomped around the Commonwealth a little bit more. I've been, you know, coming across, like, settlements and, you know, destroying, destroying raiders, you know, help out people for the Minutemen. Preston Garvey did ask me to help out the Minutemen take the castle, which I haven't done because I haven't been in that area. I've considered it because I was close by at one point, and I was like, I could go over there to the castle, but I was like, nah. And I went off in the other direction. There are some things that have annoyed me. At one point, I died fighting some super mutants, and normally the game saves, like, it auto saves whenever you enter, like, a building or something, whenever you go through a loading zone. But at one point, I died fighting some super mutants, and it set me, because I'm not quick saving, like, every time I defeat a combat area, right? But it set me back, like, an hour in progress, and I was, like, so annoyed. And I went back and redid everything I had done with quick saving, like, every time I cleared an area. But I was so annoyed, because, like, all the buildings I'd entered, nope, it didn't save any of them. Cleared out a shopping mall, nope, wasn't, right? Entering in and out of the shopping mall, like, twice, nope, never created a quick save, or an auto save, or whatever. So that was super annoying. But I did everything. But I've done that, and, you know, I've just been stomping around. I really haven't done too much. But yeah, eventually, so after doing the chip, I went back to Nick. Then the next time I was, because one of the things because I have Curie as a companion. So one of the things I've been waiting to do is Curie's quest. But I was just like, because she wants to become human. And I was like, you know who I bet would make her human? Amari, who runs the memory den, or is, like, the scientist at the memory den. So I eventually ended up going to Good Neighbor to relive Kellogg's memories. And that's, I think, where I left off. Which, again, I think is farther than I got in my first ever playthrough of Fallout 4. Where, I mean, like, in that playthrough I had taken the castle and whatnot. But I don't remember if I had relived Kellogg's memories. I know I've never been to the Glowing Sea. Right? In both this new playthrough and my old playthrough, I never went to the Glowing Sea, so I know I had never gotten that far, but yeah, I went through Kellogg's memories again, and I can now help Curie, which is probably the next thing I'm going to do, which is where I ended off, right? Like, being able to help Curie. So I'm probably going to do that. I do, companion-wise, you know, I've just kind of been using whoever. mostly dog meat, but I took on Curie and I took on Nick for a while. I get why people really like Nick. You know, I was kind of Nick is just a really charming character. Probably the best written character in Fallout 4. So I get why people really like him. I know his side quest is stupid with him like stopping Eddie Winter. I remember that being dumb. But yeah, I remember why people like Nick. But yeah, right now I'm like, okay, I've got Amari, so now I'm gonna go help out Curie. I did finally get I was waiting to get out before I go to the glowing sea. I was like, okay, I need a radiation suit. And I finally found one at, oh gosh, where was it? I found two, actually. I found one I found at was it the Polymer Carbon Labs? Right by next to, like, CIT. There's, like, this laboratory that you get locked inside by a robot. And you have... I want to say that's where you get the Liberty Prime part later on in the game. If you help out the Brotherhood of Steel. Like, you get Liberty Prime's new knees there. I think... that sounds right in my head, but it might be wrong. But yeah, when you get, like, locked inside the building and you have to, like, run this experiment... in there, I found a radiation suit, because there's a room with a nuclear, where you have to go inside that has a nuclear reactor. So they give you a radiation suit for that. But I found one somewhere else as well. And I was like, okay, I finally have a radiation suit. I don't remember where I found the other one. I'm trying to think and I can't remember. But with 2 radiation suits, I'm like, okay, I've been now keeping because yeah, for the most part, with what I keep on me, it's the the gear that I'm wearing, right? The Volt jumpsuit you start with, because I haven't gotten anything better than that yet for like general apparel. And then the Silver Shroud costume, because I haven't done the Silver Shroud quest yet, so the costume is stuck in my inventory, and now I'm keeping a radiation suit on me just in case I ever need it. But yeah. But, okay, so the thing that pissed me off was, so I've been adventuring, and I've been storing everything at Sanctuary. But at one point, one of my settlements, not even Sanctuary, it was one of the other ones, got raided. And I learned that when your settlements get raided, if you fail the raid, you just lose a bunch of your material. So, like, I had, like, 1,000 wood, 1,000 steel in my chest, right? I had a bunch of stuff, because, you know, I haven't been doing the story. I've just been collecting stuff and storing it at Sanctuary. So when Sanctuary, or one of my other settlements, got raided, I came back, and I was, like, I was trying to upgrade, like, a gun or some armor. And it was like, oh, you only have 27 steel. And I'm like, no, that's not right. I had, like, over 1,000. So I had to look it up. And yeah, I found out that, yeah, when your settlements get raided, they just steal your stuff. So yeah, I lost a bunch of my supplies are just gone now. I had like 1,500 wood. I have like 300 now. 1,000 steel. I had 27. All my leather gone. Screws, I think I had like over 100 screws. I have like 10. So yeah, because I didn't give a shit enough to, like, stop these raids, because I didn't think they did, like, at most, I thought you might lose the settlement, but no, they just take your stuff. So yeah, like, half of my materials, I mean, I've built up, like, a new supply since then, but yeah, and I was thinking about, like, oh, can I go back to, like, a previous autosave? But then it was like, oh, like a previous autosave or quick save or whatever, but no, my last autosave would have taken me back, like, 4 hours, and I'm like, I'm not redoing all that progress, right? I'm not redoing all that. So yeah, I'm just continuing to play, but I am so annoyed with that. And like, now I'm like, what I want to do now is I bought a house in Diamond City, so I just want to store all my stuff there, because I know that one won't get raided, and hopefully I won't lose stuff if another place get raids. Hopefully I won't lose stuff at Diamond City. But I can't build any workbenches. You can't build workbenches unless you have level 2 of a specific perk with high enough charisma. And I don't have the perk or high enough charisma to get it. So it's just like there's nothing I can do. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Alright, there's nothing I can do, so... Yeah, so I still have to keep going back to Sanctuary to store all my stuff there. And I, you know, if I do eventually end up making, like, when I go out to the verge, the glowing sea, I was looking for the word, the glowing sea, and I, you know, if I do ever find Virgil, then I'm going, right, which side to make the teleporter, I'm going to go with the Minutemen. Because I don't think you can you make the teleporter with the railroad, actually? I have helped out the railroad a few times. Right? I've done a few quests for the railroad at this point. Just like, again, just like wandering around, I've run into like railroad people and like helped them out. So I might actually build it with the railroad. But either way, I'm still like, I don't plan on doing the story. Again, I just do it when I come across it as I stomp around the Commonwealth. But if I do end up doing the story, I'm pretty sure I'm going to side with the Institute. Not because I really care about the Institute. Like, again, they're the villains. Even though they're... Again, the story of Fallout 4 fucking sucks. But I think I'm going to side with the Institute. I don't know. I might end up siding with the Railroad anyways. But I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But yeah, you can. Because I was planning on building the teleporter with the Minutemen. But no, I have actually done a few quests for the Railroad. They actually probably do. I know I can decode the Courser chip if I ever get around to that. I don't even remember where you get the Courser chip at, now that I'm thinking about it. Where do you get the Courser chip? It's not the Polymer Labs. It's not. Is it Green Tech Genetics? Is that where you get the Courser chip? Did I already clear out Green Tech Genetics? I've cleared out a bunch of places. Like I kind of cleared out Fort Hagen before the whole thing with Kellogg. I've already cleared out at least the lower floors of Mass Fusion, right? And there's like one or two, again, Cambridge Polymer Labs or whatever. I know is important. I want the name sounds familiar, so yeah. I've just been, you know, running around Fallout 4, not really, you know, just doing side quests. Not even really just doing side quests. Mostly just clearing out buildings, you know. Yeah, I haven't even really... I've done, I don't know, maybe like 20 side quests. Not that many, actually. I don't know, I talked to a kid, and he was like, oh, there's a monster out in the water. You should go investigate it. And I'm like, oh, I should go investigate it. Oh, wait, isn't that the Chinese submarine? Huh, that might be an interesting one. Yeah, it was just like that memory like flooded back to me, like, oh yeah, the ship is the Chinese submarine. So there is something I do want to... Okay, so the other thing I've been playing is Minecraft. So in Minecraft, we did the Ancient City. Yeah, I don't think I've talked about this yet. So, you know, the new thing in the new update is the Ancient City. And part of the reason, right, I've been excited to play Minecraft is to, you know, find an Ancient City. So for the past week, I had been looking for one. I'd been venturing out, you know, way past my base into, like, mountains and whatnot, just looking for this Ancient City. And I couldn't find one. I probably spent like 10 hours looking. Couldn't find one. And someone else on the server was like, you know what? I'll go look for one. Found one in like an hour. So yeah, we found the Ancient City. So like 4 of us got together. I supplied all the wool, right? Because I have the big sheep farm. I supplied all the wool. And someone else supplied night vision potions, and we raided the Ancient City. And it's so fucking cool. I think the Ancient City is a great addition to Minecraft. No matter what all the problems with the new update is, right, and how underwhelming it feels, the Warden in the Ancient City is just so much fun to explore. Like, the rewards may not be that great, but actually exploring it is pretty cool. But yeah, we went around, we explored the Ancient City, the 4 of us. And I was mostly, right, I was very liberal on my usage of wool. Because I had a bunch of it. I had like 4 stacks. I basically used up all 4 stacks. Just because I was very liberal with my usage of it. Meanwhile, I'd hear, like, the warden go off, but, like, my screen wouldn't change because somebody else had, like, woken it up. And at one point, I was, like, running, and I was running away from the warden, and I was like, yo, I'm pretty far away. And then I turn around, and it's, like, not far from me at all. And I was like, oh, shit, and someone else was right there, so I was just like, scatter! Scatter, get out of the way! And so we run back. But yeah, we explored the entire ancient city. You know, we found record shards, but not enough to make a record. We only found like 7. But then echo shards, which are what's used to make the new compass, we found, I want to say like 12, not 12. We found 16. We found enough to basically make 2 compasses. Yeah, we found all that stuff, but it was just really, and like there was one point where I'm in like the corner of the ancient city, and everyone's like freaking out on the other side, and they're like, stop, the warden's right beneath you. And like below me, I can see like his like horn things, like on the other side. So I just run straight over him and like go and escape, and I'm just like, tell me when to turn left. Just tell me when to turn left so I can get towards you guys. Because I couldn't see shit, right? By this point, my night vision potion had run out. Potions, I used several. But yeah, it was just so fun to raid the new ancient city, man. And I did get killed by the warden at one point. I've died to the warden twice right now. And I'll explain the other death later. But, yeah, the first time at one point I like fell off a cliff, activated the shriekers, the wardens went off, and yeah, he just killed me. But yeah, through it, you know, and we also found like books. We found a few books of Swift Sneak. I found a Swift Sneak 3 book, so I kept it and I put it on a pair of pants later on. And because, so after that, after we found that ancient city, or no, right before, so right, I had spent like 10 hours looking for one, and I didn't find an ancient city. Instead, I found a fucking stronghold. Just, and like, no Eyes of Ender or anything. Just wandering around in caves. I found a stronghold before I found an ancient city. And I was just like, okay. So I eventually went back. So after we did the ancient city that the other person found. And he later on found another one. So he found a second ancient city that he explored by himself. But then from that stronghold I found, I went exploring. And I found a skulk biome. Because I had found more skulk. Like, before that guy found the ancient city, I had found a bunch of skulk. Right? Like, I had been finding skulk biomes, but no ancient cities. Connected to the stronghold, maybe, I don't know, like 200-300 blocks away, was an ancient city. So after like 10 plus hours and finding a stronghold, I finally found an ancient city. And yeah, I did some preparation. And I was like, okay, I've got all my preparation done. I'm going to go do this ancient city. And then everyone else was like, oh, let's go fight the Ender Dragon instead. So I had to stop, put all my stuff away. We went and fought the Ender Dragon. It was a joke, of course. There was like 5 or 6 of us. We killed the Ender Dragon easy. And then I went and did the second ancient city on my own. And while I do definitely think it's more interesting with 4 people... Because, right, you're kind of like, because with multiple people, you're both exploring it on your own, but you're also, like, looking out for others. Exploring it on my own was also pretty interesting. I only summoned the warden. I got killed by it once, and I summoned it, like, 3 or 4 times. But it was still, you know, pretty good. It still worked out pretty well. Exploring it on my own was pretty interesting. I was collecting, one of the first treasures I found was a Silk Touch hoe, so I was collecting all the Skulk Shriekers for something that I'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, so I collected a bunch of Skulk Shriekers, and yeah, I just explored the ancient city. You know, I set off the warden a few times, and it's very tense, but it's a good level of tense. Like, it's not like you go blind. If you don't have night vision, you go like completely blind. But at no point did I feel like I just had like completely lost control. And having Swift Sneak, because when I went and did the one on my own, I had Swift Sneak. That was also very nice. Because, yeah. But, yeah. And now I am stuck wearing that Swift Sneak pants forever because it had cursive binding on it. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, well, it also has mending, so yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed raiding the Ancient. The Ancient City is just so cool. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great addition to Minecraft. You know, all the complaints about the update, and again, I'm not saying any of them are like less valid, but I think the actual exploring the Ancient City is just really fun. It's a really great addition. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But so with those Skulk Shriekers, so after we raided, so we raided the first Ancient City on like, let's just say we did it Monday. Then we fought. Then on Wednesday was when we fought the Ender Dragon, and I raided the one I found, right? But so after we raided the Ancient City on Monday, that night, the person who had found the Ancient City, I went to his house in game, right? His Minecraft house that he had built. And I was like, okay, his house is made entirely out of sandstone. And I was like, you know what? I bet I could plant a Skulk. After doing some testing, I was like, okay, I can plant a Skulk Shrieker or a Skulk Catalyst under his house, and then fill his house with chickens. And then when he kills the chickens, it will turn his house into Skulk. Right? That was like the joke. And then I went over to his house and learned that he had actually replaced his floorboards with wood. So it was like, okay, my original plan isn't going to work anymore. But, you know, I can improvise, adapt, overcome. So I modified it. And instead of, like, turning his house into Skulk, it would just replace some of the blocks. So it would replace some of the blocks with Skulk. Or, like, the Skulk. It turns, because some, like, the walls were still sandstone. But, like, the floor was wood. But it would put, like, the Skulk growth on the floor. And I was like, yeah, that'll be fine. So that's what I did. And I buried it in one of his rooms. Not his main room, but, like, it was, like, his room with, like, all his furnaces. I put a Skulk Catalyst under the floorboards. Only one. I didn't want to do too much. And then I filled the room with chickens. Because I have a huge chicken farm. And I took, like, an entire row's worth of eggs. Filled the rooms with chickens. Waited for them to grow up. And then left. Right? And I just left his house alone. The next... Actually, wait. I'm not going to go back into a game yet. Because I'm going to explain this. So, yeah. The next day, I go back in. And, yeah, by the next morning, he'd found... There's two people who live at his house. Him and his girlfriend. IRL girlfriend, you know. And so his girlfriend had woke up that morning and saw the chickens and went and just killed them, right? Because they're annoying chickens, and just Skulk spread everywhere. I don't have a picture of it. I wish I had a before and after picture, but I don't. But yeah, it totally worked. She fell for it, and then yeah, he logged on and saw that the house had been covered in Skulk, right? So it was like, okay, boom, that's the prank done. That triggered the prank war. Okay, so that was my original thing, right? That's how it all started. So then, I want to show off my place, my house. Which, let me pull it up real quick. Where is there an easy way to... I'm trying... Oh, wait, right there. Okay, wait, give me a second. Okay. Okay, so this is my Minecraft house. Oops. So I built a farm, right? That's my house design. Let me readjust it. So I built a farm, right? I've talked about it before. I can't get video of it, sadly. But I built a farm, so you've got the farm, you've got wheat, you've got a barn, a house, a chicken statue, the sheep over there, cows, chickens, right? Everything. This is my simple farm. So the player I pranked, he has an iron golem farm, right? To get infinite iron. So his prank back to me was this. He turned my entire farm. He got rid of all of the crops and replaced them all with roses. All the wheat gone, and he replaced it all with roses, or poppies, I guess, because roses are again, rose bushes. Because iron golems, because he has the iron farm, and iron golems drop poppies when they're killed. So he just has stacks and stacks of poppies. So yeah, he got rid of everything. He took some wool and made a giant poppy. And then you can only kind of barely see it. But if you look into the house, he also, because he's got the iron farm, so he's got infinite iron, he put iron golems all over the place. So like there's an iron golem there, there's one in there. There were like 3 inside the barn. Over in there was one in the sheep farm over there. There's one inside the chicken's still there, like he didn't destroy the chicken. But there's one inside the chicken, and then he left a sign. But yeah, so he replaced my entire farm with poppies. That was the retaliation prank. And originally, after it happened, I was just like, I'm not going to clean it up, right? Like, oh, that's funny, haha. I'm not going to worry about cleaning it up. And even though it was a prank on me, the person who pranked me, ended up cleaning it up. Because as it turns out, I am the biggest supplier of food on the server. So whenever anyone needs like potatoes or carrots, they just come to me. And with all my farms destroyed, now nobody could get food. I mean, they could grow their own, but I produce in such high quantities. Because, I have such a big farm. Like all of this wheat. There's a massive field of potatoes and carrots right behind me. So yeah, he ended up, he at least fixed the potatoes and carrots. Because that was, I think, his main food source is the potatoes. And I did eventually fix it. Like I eventually tore down the statue and I replaced all the poppies with wheat. So I did eventually fix it. But I only fixed it because I knew, because I pranked him back. Which, yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, that's my farm, and that was the retaliation prank. But of course he pranked me, so I retaliated back. So after the poppy farm, after he replaced all my things with poppies, I then retaliated back. Because by that point I had raided my own ancient city, and I collected a bunch of skulk shriekers and skulk sensors. And I went back to his house. Like, I couldn't show you an image because the house looks exactly the same. But because I went under his floorboards and in his walls, and I just put skulk shriekers everywhere. So I think I hit like 15. I hit him everywhere. So I hit him in his walls were only 1 wide, but like every once in a while I'd find a place where like I'd put them at like corners. He had a bed, so I put them under the bed, right here, or like a bed frame. I put them outside, like I put one under his nether portal. He had a pathway. I put one under his pathway. I even put one under his iron farm, right? He has the iron golem farm. I put one underneath that. I just put them everywhere throughout his house. So that way, no matter where he went in his house, the skulk shriekers would go off. And like he's got like a 3-story house, so like I had to put them like in like the point where like where like the floor in like the wall goes, right? I had to put them in those like corners, so that way they'd be on like the 2nd and 3rd floor. He had a little like frog habitat, because frogs are one of the new things in the update, and he's the one who also made a frog light farm. So I literally I broke into his frog habitat and put them in his frog habitat. Or at least underneath the floorboards. And then on top of that, I was like, so skulk shriekers make these annoying noises. What other annoying like noisemakers are there in Minecraft? So I looked it up, and Doc M77, whatever, has a design for like a noisemaker using 2 bells. That just like has these 2 bells like ringing on like very quick, like a loop. And so I saw that design, and I buried one of those beneath his floorboards, but I didn't have it constantly running. Instead I made, which probably honestly it would have been very mean to make it constantly running. So instead, I had it activate. I modified his design a little bit, the Doc M design, to make it activate with a skulk sensor. So yeah, it was, and I buried it under his floorboards, so that way whenever he went through to his chests, the two bells would go off and they would just shake like crazy. I buried a Skull Shrieker under his cactus. He has like a cactus to like dispose of like items he doesn't want, and I buried a Skull Shrieker under that. Because he's in the desert, so like underneath his floorboards was nothing but sand. So I like buried them like deeper and deeper underground to like, so that way you couldn't easily find them. But yeah, so I put a bunch of them everywhere. And then, so I put the bell thing underneath his house. But on his roof, I put a trapdoor noisemaker. Right? I put like where it's like the trapdoors that just like click back and forth really fast. And I put one of those on his roof. And he didn't, the first time he joined back in, he told me later that, yeah, when he first joined back in, because, you know, he expected a retaliation prank. He didn't even go upstairs, so he didn't even know the trapdoors were there. But yeah, so I just filled his house with Skull Shriekers and bells. And that I did that on, like, Thursday. And so far, he hasn't retaliated yet. I'll probably check in tomorrow and find out if he did, because I know, because I was just on this, I was on for like a very little bit today, and I know he was in the end, because now that we've beat the dragon, it's, oh, let's go look for Elytras, which he hadn't done yet, in Shulker boxes and whatnot. And I know he was doing that today, so maybe he'll find some way to retaliate or something. Maybe this is the end of it, but yeah. So yeah, that's the prank war that started. I know it's very minor, but... because again, we're not trying to like steal each other's items or anything like that. I'm not trying to like, you know, do anything like that. I'm just, you know, I'm mostly just joking around and trying to have a good time. But yeah. So yeah, that's my little Minecraft prank war. And yeah, so yeah, I've been having a great time playing Minecraft. But yeah, that's what I've been doing when I haven't been playing Fallout or Fall Guys, which at most I've played Fall Guys for like an hour each day, and even still, that's probably it's probably been like 30 minutes of that. I've been playing it every day, but I haven't really been doing much. So last week, I at the end of the show, I was like, there was something I wanted to talk about, but I couldn't remember what. Like, there was some major topic that I was forgetting to talk about. I realized I forgot to talk about Miss Marvel Episode 2 last week. That's it. So this week we're going to talk about Miss Marvel Episode 2 and 3. So I'll probably say this every week. I'm a big fan of Miss Marvel. I've only read like a dozen comic books, and her original run and her second one. You know, I was thinking like her original run, for some reason in my memory, Miss Marvel's original run is only like 8 issues, whereas her second run is like 30. No, her original run is like closer to like 20 issues, and I had just completely forgotten. Don't know how, but yeah, it was way longer than I expected it to be. Or because I at some point after watching the second episode, I went to look something up. Because I was like, wait. Okay, so in the second episode, we're introduced to Kamran, who is, right, he goes to their school, and he quickly befriends Kamala, and, right, he takes her driving, and, you know, he's the hot guy, and he's the romantic interest. And I was like, okay, the name isn't familiar, but the character, right, the role he fills is. So I pulled out my issue of like Volume 2. And yeah, sure enough, Kamran is in the comics. And yeah, he's exactly who I expected him to be. So, spoilers, I guess, because I'm going to mention this, specifically with Episode 3. So yeah, we see Kamran in the first episode. And so in the comics, Kamran, spoiler alert, is a mutant. Or, not a mutant, an Inhuman. Because in the comics, Kamala is an Inhuman. So when she meets Kamran, right, she doesn't know. In the comics, Kamran is like he's the son of the friend of her parents, So, right, like, like, her parents have, like, a friend who moved back from, like, California or whatever. And Kamran is their kid. And the parents are actually trying to hook the two of them up. Right? Kamala's parents and Kamran's parents are actually trying to hook them up in the comics. And Kamala actually goes along with it because they're both fans of World of Warcraft. Right? Like, and she takes a liking to him that way. Whereas in, like, the show, at one point they're like, oh, he's like our cousin or whatever, right? That's what she tells her brother. Because in the comics, her brother actually chaperones them going on a date at one point. But yeah, so that's where I recognize the character. But in this one, he's not an Inhuman. Instead, Kamala keeps seeing, like, this woman whenever she uses her powers. She's, like, seeing these flashes and stuff like that. And it's of this woman who you learn is Kamran's mother. Because in the next episode... So I think just episode 2... Right, they go to Zoe Zimmer's party, which is, again, it's a little different than how it works in the comics. Because in the comics, Zoe Zimmer's party is replaced by Avengers Con in the show. But yeah, so in this, right, the second episode I thought was pretty solid. You know, it still has that, like, teenager vibe. And I thought it was pretty good. I did thoroughly enjoy the second episode. The whole bit with them at the celebration at the mosque, and she's where Amari is running for a seat on the it's not the council, but whatever it is, right? She's running for the position, and the whole bit where she has to convince Kamala's father to vote for her was fucking fantastic. I loved that bit so much. Very solid, very funny, thoroughly enjoyable. Right, it's tense, but in, like, a really good way. I loved that whole bit. And yeah, all, like, the people at the party. It reminds me of going to church functions with my grandparents for, like, Easter. Right, it's like you'd see, like, the same types of groups and everything. And, right, there'd be people, you know, going out, having fun. Right, the Illuminantes. Solid stuff. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's really good. I liked all that. And then, you know, the bit with her trying to save the kid, successfully doing it, then getting the vision and, like, panicking and dropping him. That's, okay, right, that heroing isn't easy. The main village is damage control, and, you know, seeing racist damage control. They come into the mosque at one point to ask the head of the mosque, and I think Amari's also there. And right, and that's starting the whole thing with, like, her not trusting Miss Marvel, or as she's called right now, Nightlight, because, you know, the MCU makes, like, the temporary names, like the Night Monkey and whatnot. Crap. I suck at the two new finales. But yeah, so that's good. I like the second, right, her running away from damage control and then getting saved by Kamran. Because I was like, oh, are they going to actually make him an Inhuman? Right? Is that going to happen? And then in the next episode. So I thought episode 2 was pretty strong. I don't think episode 3 is that strong. I think it ends strong. Like, the first half of episode 3 sucks. It's a lot of exposition. It's very slow. It's kind of boring. I think once we get to the wedding, it picks up and it gets more interesting. But that doesn't happen until, like I said, like halfway through, maybe even 2/3 of the way through the episode. But so we start off and we learn that, yeah, Kamala is no longer an Inhuman, but she's now a clandestine, a Jinn, who has a connection. And, like, they go and, right, we start with this, like, flashback where we see this lady, and Kamala's, like, I think it's her great-grandmother? That sounds right to me. And they, like, went and found this bracelet, because, you know, there are these clandestine, these jinns, who are trapped on Earth. And this bracelet was, like, the chance to get home, but that was the last time the clandestines saw Kamala's grandmother, or great-grandmother. Right, after that, she just disappeared. But where they find the bracelet on the floor is the pattern of the 10 rings. So there's some sort of connection there. But so as I've learned, the clandestine, these Jinn, are actually a thing in Marvel Comics. It's kind of like Scarlet Scarab at Moon Knight, right? At the end of Moon Knight, oh god, I'm forgetting her name. She becomes a superhero, right? The Mark Spector's wife. Yeah, they're married. Yeah, no, they're married. And yeah, she gets the power of the goddess of the underworld, or the one who rides the boat, and she becomes Scarlet Scarab. And at the time, it was like, hey, is this Marvel's like first ever new superhero, like for the movies, right? Like is this their first ever like character they've created specifically for the movies? No, but Scarlet Scarab has only ever appeared in like 3 comics, so as far as I'm concerned, she is the MCU's first ever original superhero, right? Like, yeah, Scarlet Scarab is technically a character in the comics, but has never actually done anything. So she's basically an original character, and yeah, I count it as that. I know it's a technicality, but it's one I will exploit implicitly. And that's the same thing with these clandestine. As it turns out, the clandestine are actually characters in the comics. They are Jinn. I don't think they have anything to do with Pakistan or Muslim or anything like that. Like, I think the picture I saw is they're all white. But they are characters from the comics. And they have only ever been in like 20 comics total. So this is some obscure shit that Marvel is pulling up. And basically they're basically making an entirely new thing out of it. But yeah, so Kamala is no longer an Inhuman. She's now a clandestine. Which has, it has its own problems, because the Inhumans are basically just not mutants, right? They're very similar, but they're not mutants. And maybe that's what they're going to turn the clandestine into. Like, they're superheroes, but they're also not. Instead they're this Jinn, these people from this alternate world. It's very, again, the show is both like the comics and also completely different. But yeah, basically these people have been trapped on Earth for hundreds of years, and they want to go home. And they ask Kamala if she'll help them, and she's like, she doesn't want to commit to it, but she's like, maybe I'll do it. Right? It could be dangerous, but yeah, maybe I might consider it. All right, I'll consider it. Right? And by the end of the episode, right, I'm convinced that if they had, this is one of those idiot plots where if the characters had just not done anything and just let Kamala, right, because right now she's busy dealing with her brother's wedding. If they had just not said anything, Kamala would have helped them out, no questions asked. But no, because even though they've waited hundreds of years to get home or whatever, they get just a little bit impatient and they've completely screwed the pooch. Right? Kamala would have totally helped them out. She just needs to get through her brother's wedding. But nope, instead they go and attack the brother's wedding. Which, of course, something had to go wrong at the brother's wedding, right? I mean, it's better than in the comics where they get attacked by a bunch of clones of Kamala and a giant 50-foot Kamala. No, seriously, that's what happens at the wedding in the comics. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. But yeah, I like how they do, and in the brother's wedding in the comics doesn't happen for like 30 or 40 issues. It happens a while in. Right? I don't even think you meet his girlfriend until the end of the first run, after the universe gets rebooted. Right? Like, by the time you meet the brother's girlfriend, Kamran, like, no longer is in the comics, right? Those two things happen completely separately. So so when we get to the actual wedding, the wedding is very fun. The wedding has a lot of energy. It's very fun. I really like the wedding. The one thing I will say, so at the, is it like an engagement party or something? Kamala sits down and has a talk with the head of the mosque. And one of the things I really like in the comics is how they handle Kamala and her religion. right? Like, they don't, like, maybe it's just I'm very jaded because I have seen a lot of those Christian Pure Flix movies, right? They're fucking horrible movies. Christian Pure Flix movies, and, you know, other similar, and when I'm saying Christian Pure Flix, I'm specifically referring to Pure Flix, but I'm talking about movies like God's Not Dead, Old Fashioned, other examples I can't think of off the top of my head. Shit like that, right? Those Christian movies are fucking terrible. Which is why I've seen a lot of them, because they are really bad. And not in like a fun way bad. They're not fun in like a bad way, like, you know, something like The Room. They're just really bad. But I watch a lot of bad movies, or at least I used to. Not really anymore. But, you know, I'm so used to those just in how just terribly they make Christians look. And, you know, there are a lot of terrible Christians. Because they don't, you know, Christians claim to love Jesus, but they don't give a shit about a single thing he said. Right? It's the joke that, like, if Jesus were to come back today, Christians would accuse him of being a brainwashed communist. It's just the truth. That's how far they've strayed from the message of Jesus. Again, I'm not a very religious person. It's just the truth. Because it's a mess. Those fucking movies suck. And Christians and their persecution complex. Because they want, even though they are the biggest group in America, they want so badly to be persecuted. They want to be treated like a minority. They want none of the bad parts. But God, don't watch those movies. They're fucking terrible. But yeah. To make a long story short, the way that Miss Marvel in the comics handles religion is so much better. And like at one point, without getting into any specifics, at one point she kisses a boy, and then afterwards she like freaks out and she goes to the mosque to talk to the head of the mosque about it. And it's just a really good conversation. And it's like, because she expects him to like yell at her or whatever. But he's like, no, I'm glad you came to me. Because at the end of the day, you are a teenage girl. Of course I expect you to do stuff like that. But I'm glad you could like trust me to like, and you could come to me to talk about your problems. It's really well handled. And there's a moment in this episode where, right, she's out on like the porch during like before the wedding, and she bumps into him, and it's like, oh, what do you think about the hero nightlight at the mosque and everything? Like even though she saved the boy, right, he still got hurt, and it's like, oh well, the boy is very thankful that he was saved, but also like good, right? Whether she's good, whether this nightlight hero is good or bad, that doesn't matter. What matters is whether they're doing good things or not. And it's a very brief interaction, but it's a very good interaction, and I want to see more of it. Because again, I love how the comics did it so much. And like I use the example of like the one time she kisses a boy, but it happens like several times in the comics, and every time I thought it was handled very well. And I'm really. Yeah, I love, even though it's just a brief little moment, I'm glad it's there, right? It's like some of the shit with her brother, right? I'm glad that they're not just making like the brother into like, they've definitely livened up Kamala's family more. Like her father and the comics are two completely different characters, but I like her father. I like her father in the show. In the comics, you know, he does a lot less, but it's fine. But no, I like, oh my god, so close. But I really do like how they've changed the father in the comics. Or in the show, I mean. I like how they've changed it in the show. But yeah, so at the wedding gets interrupted because the clandestines show up, and they're like, hey, they basically plan on like destroying the wedding and killing the people in it. Because even though Kamala's like, hey, we can just talk about this, right? Again, it's kind of an idiot plot. If they had just waited one more day and been like, hey, Kamala, can you help us out? We know it, because at some point Kamala contacts Kamran and is like, hey, can you, like, help us out? And she's like, yeah, I will. It's just give me some time. I'm very busy right now. And I'm very stressed with my brother's wedding. Also, it might be dangerous, but yeah, she basically agrees to help. But the mother reads the text and is like, no, we have to do this now. Let's go interrupt the wedding. And yeah, so she ends up pulling the fire alarm and everybody runs out and she ends up fighting the clandestine. I don't remember the song they used, but I think the music so far in this show has been great. I love all the musical choices. But yeah, and then at the end, oh god, I'm forgetting her. So at the end, they all the clandestine get arrested by damage control, but Kamala and Bruno are able to escape. And as they're running out back, have I been calling Nakia Amari this whole time? God, I'm fucking terrible with names. If that wasn't clear before, oh my god, have I been? Who the fuck is Amari? Have I been saying again? This is what I was talking about, like how streaming is like driving. You're sometimes just on autopilot. Nakia is her. I'd say Bruno is her best friend. Nakia is like her second best friend, who gets elected to the church council, which that's a cute little moment, right? Finding out that yeah she did, because like Kamala's like freaking out because she's trending as Nightlight. But yeah, when at the end Nakia finding out that Kamala has like powers or whatever, that's great. That's a great little moment. Again, the comics. I don't want to say anything specific, but the comics do it completely differently. And Nakia doesn't find out for, like 60 issues. And the thing is though, that it's like, in the comic, again, I make all these comparisons because I've read it, right? I kind of got it because I've read it. But, in the comics, yeah, it's a whole different, it's heavily hinted, Nakia and a few other characters heavily hint that they know Kamala is Miss Marvel. And they're just kind of like waiting for her to reveal it. And again, it leads to some great scenes with some other characters that, yeah, again, I don't want to go into spoilers. Again, read the comics. But the one thing that, again, is actually a spoiler, like, I will just straight up say it's a spoiler for the comics, because I kind of have to talk about it, because it was one of the biggest surprises for me for the episode. Like, the whole stuff with the clandestine, okay, they're kind of doing a similar-ish thing. Again, the clandestines have only ever been in 20 comics total, and none of them relate to Miss Marvel. But, in the comics, so, spoiler alert, in the comics, Kamran is an Inhuman, and right, her and Kamala are dating, but they're like on, they might start dating. But it's revealed, right after Kamran reveals he's an Inhuman, it turns out that he's actually working for like this Inhuman like liberation group that's trying to overthrow Medusa, Queen of the Inhumans. And Kamran is actually a villain. So in the show, like, his mother turning out to be a villain and like the rest of the clandestine doesn't surprise me at all. And again, I don't even know if they're entirely like villains. Like, I don't even know if they have this big like evil plot or if they're just trying to get home. By the end of the series, because again, this is nothing, the comics don't work like this at all. At the end of the show, it would not surprise me at all if the clandestine are just trying to go home and Kamala ends up helping them in the end to get home. Right? That would not surprise me at all if that's how the show ends. Is that they do actually get to finally go home. But no, in the comics, Kamran is a villain. Right? He actively tries to hurt Kamala, and he does some other things that I do think will eventually happen, so I'm not going to say them. But yeah, he's evil. So I was actually genuinely surprised when they've changed it, and yeah, he actually is trying to help Kamala. He's, at least right now, at the point we are in the comics, he's not a villain. Which I actually think is kind of surprising. Because I was fully right, the turn to evil with the clandestine doesn't surprise me at all. Kamran not being, like, evil with them is, I think, the much bigger surprise. At least in my opinion. But yeah, and that's where the episode ends with Kamala going home. Her parents ask her why she pulled the fire alarm, and then she won't tell. But at one point, her and, you know, Kamran's mother, whose name I don't remember, because I'm terrible with names. Oh, look, another Glizzy. That's 2. They see, like, a train, and then she gets a call from her grandmother being like, hey, did you see the train? So now she's presumably going to go to Pakistan and, you know, meet up with her grandmother. So that's something I fully, again, and at one point in the comics, she does go to Pakistan and meet up with her grandmother to, you know, get, I don't remember the exact reason why she does it. It's actually, it is after it does happen after her brother's wedding, though. I think it's after the whole situation where there's, like, a bunch of clones of her. No, is it? Yes, it is, but it's also after the events of, Civil War II. I think that's actually what kicks it off, is she ends up going back after the events of Civil War II. Yeah, that's the whole thing. But yeah, so the second episode I thought was good, but the third episode starts off very weak. And overall I don't think it's actually that great of an episode, but once you get to the wedding, it definitely picks up. I think the fight scene at the wedding was decent. And then it ending right with them getting kidnapped by damage control and Nakia finding out that she has powers. And then her getting the call. Right, that's good. God, you know, we started off so strong tonight, winning 2 games. And then since then, I feel like I've been doing terribly. So, I guess that takes us to our last thing tonight, which is the Owl House. So, after I finished She-Ra, which I thoroughly enjoyed, I was like, okay, well, now it's time to move on to the next thing. It's finally time to start the Owl House. So, I've been hearing about the Owl House, probably since it, you know, I remember when Amphibia and the Owl House were revealed around the same time. And yes, I know the show's been canceled by Disney, but I know they're having a 3rd season. As far as I know, they're having a 3rd season, and they will get an ending. Right? Like, Disney canceled them, but they just cut them short, right? Like, they had more seasons planned, and now they're only going to have, like, 1 more. And I don't even think the last season's going to be that long. It'll probably only be, like, 10 episodes, if that. So, yeah, and, you know, fuck Disney for canceling the show. I know the show is huge, people love it, and I totally get it. But yeah, no, fuck Disney for canceling the show. And, you know, they did it because it features, I think she's bisexual main character and a lesbian supporting character. So yeah, that's definitely part of the reason. But yeah, so I know when the show got revealed, but the first time I heard about it was when the prom episode aired. Or after its reveal. I didn't, when it started airing, I didn't hear much about it. And then the prom episode aired. Or Grom. And everyone was talking about the Grom episode. Everyone was super excited for the Grom episode. And I get it. The Grom episode was very good. So yeah, so far I have seen the first season, and I've seen the first episode of the second season. So I'm watching it on Disney Plus. Not all of the second season is on Disney Plus, as far as I know. They're not caught up to the most recent episode. But yeah, so going into the show, I knew Grom. The whole reason I've been I have never seen that top before. What? That's a cool top. The bone? I know there's there was the Among Us top, and then there was the monster one, which I never figured out how to get. But the bone. Oh my god, that's cool. But yeah, okay, so Owl House back on track. I knew about the Grom episode. I knew about, and the one of the main reasons is the song Little Miss Perfect. I fucking love that song so much. And yeah, everyone relates it. I don't know all the details behind it. I've just heard the song, and I know everybody relates it to the Owl House. I should maybe look into that, why. But it's a very good song. And yeah, and that's one of the main I heard the song 2 years ago now, or whatever. I feel like it's been forever. It's probably not actually been 2 years, but it's been a long time. And I've always been like, okay, one day I'm going to have to start watching The Owl House because of that song. When actually did I? I actually know the first time I heard it. I actually have it. I remember the video where I first saw it. Does that video still exist? Oh, okay, it's only been 1 year. It was October of 2020. So, okay, it's coming up. Okay. But yeah, that was the first time I heard it, and I was like, oh my god, this song is great. And I've always been meaning to watch The Owl House, and I just never did. But now with She-Ra finally done, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch it. And so thoughts on... So even though the song's perfect, again, it technically never shows up in the show. At least it hasn't yet, and I don't know if it ever will. But at least the actual show itself. So Dana Terrace, the creator of The Owl House, worked on Gravity Falls. And Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, voices King in the show. And his King voice is basically just Bill Cipher. It's basically the exact same voice. But the actual show itself, it's Gravity Falls. It's literally got all the same elements of Gravity Falls. You have, the plucky innocent who's now transported into this mystical world and wants to learn as much as possible. You've got the older mentor who is kind of a sleazeball. Grunkle Stan said do tax evasion. And yeah, Ida is basically the same thing. Do tax evasion. You've got these mysteries of magic. Because Luz is basically Mabel and Dipper combined into a single character. More like Mabel than Dipper. But yeah. Okay, I have to actually focus on this real quick. Cherry, orange, I saw a banana somewhere. Cherry, orange, and I saw a banana right here. So I'm going to have to focus on this real quick. Lose the... That doesn't sound... Again, I think it's lose. But lose the human. But lose doesn't sound right. Okay. Watermelon. Okay. Cherry, apple, grape, orange. Cherry, apple, grape, orange. Cherry, apple, grape, orange. Cherry, apple, grape, orange. Again, this guy with the bone. I have no idea where he got that, but that's really cool. Okay, so yeah, you have Luz the human who, comes to this magical world through this door. And she's got all these preconceptions from, Azura the Good Witch, which is basically Harry Potter. And now she's here to learn magic. And so you've got Ida, who's her mentor, our Grunkle Stan. You've got King, who is our Seuss, right? Or Seuss combined with Waddles, which, yeah. And then you've got the Authority, you've got the school and her friends who are, I think, less annoying. Because Mabel's friends in Gravity Falls are kind of annoying. Sometimes they're really funny, but sometimes they're kind of annoying. But I like Gus and Willow way more. You've got Amity, who starts off as the bully, but honestly, they redeem her within 2 episodes. Again, she was maybe even never evil. But yeah, there's this whole magic school that Luz wants to go to. It's got to be Luz. I'm gonna say Luz. I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna say it like that. But yeah, there's this whole magic school, and you meet Amity, who's the star student. Again, she's Pacifica. But again, Pacifica and Dipper are a thing, so Amity and Luz are a thing. And, I love them so. The book episode where they go to the library because her older brothers are looking for Amity's diary. That's so good. But then I know we're kind of right in She-Ra. I knew how Adora and Catra got together, so I was just I'm waiting for it the entire show. And yeah, I'm going into it. I know that Luz and Amity have a relationship, so I'm just waiting for it. So when I got to seeing them seeing Amity get that redemption ish. Again, she's not she's more a victim of circumstance, right? Like, she doesn't want to be a bad person. It's just she's got great expectations set upon her. And in order to live up to those great expectations, she has to be mean. Unlike the three-eyed girl, Dasha? Who, you know, is just the bully. She's the actual bully. Yeah, no, Amity is a good person, and you know, that finding out she reads the kids, and yeah, everything with her, I've just enjoyed, right? And God, the Grom episode. The Grom episode is so good because the entire setup, it's like, oh, you have to face your fears, so you build it up with, right, Amity not wanting to do it because she's afraid of, right, she's afraid of admitting she's a lesbian, and meanwhile, Luz is like, oh yeah, I'll do it, and she faces her fears, but you know. It's like, oh, her real fear is her mother. And you're just waiting for that, because she's been lying to her mother this entire time, who thinks she's at summer camp. And there's this whole thing where the mom is getting letters from her, and it's like, oh shit, what's up with that, right? There's something nefarious going on there. But yeah, and then but the two end up working together, and then Luz is like, oh, you want to go to Grom with me? Because that was what she was afraid of, but she both has to face her fears and doesn't at the same time. But then in the following episodes, anytime Amity is around, she's constantly blushing. And in the first or second episode I think it's the second episode of season 2, now Luz is blushing whenever Amity is around, and I'm just like, I love it so much. I hope things don't go terribly wrong. Right, I hope things don't go terribly wrong. But no, I have hope. I have hope. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that. And then the actual, like, there's this big, greater story with, like, covens. And, you know, because Ida's a bad girl, she's not in any coven. Because, like, the Emperor makes it so that, oh, back in the day, magic used to be wild. But that's not the way things are supposed to be. You know, magic shouldn't be wild. So he created the whole coven system, but Ida doesn't play along with the coven system. Which I was honestly expecting the twist at the end of the coven episode to be, because you have the 8 main covens. I think it's 8. I was expecting the twist to be Ida starting her own coven. Right? The bad girl. And like later on they joke that she has the bad girl coven. But I was honestly waiting for that to be the thing. That, oh, Ida, oh, you want to play within the system? Okay, I'll start my own coven then. I was waiting for that reveal, and it just never happened. So, yeah. But no, instead, Ida's sister wants her to, like, battle, right? Her to join the Emperor's Coven, and they have... And the whole coven where they go to Coven Con, and Liz and Amity get... I keep wanting to call her Liz. I think that's the ultimate thing, is that I keep wanting to call Luz Liz. Because, you know, I know Liz. I've known several. Maybe that's why. But yeah, that's the whole thing, is that, they end up getting in a battle where Luz has to give up magic, and her learning magic by doing the sigils. That's pretty interesting. I like that twist of, yeah, humans can learn magic, but they have to get it from these symbols. And they do in the second season, they presented that, hey, maybe there are only 4 symbols, but you can, like, combine them. Or they're basically, the sigils are code, right? That's how, at least in the second episode of the second season, Lilith explains it as code. So I think that makes sense. Again, there's this whole, I've seen this whole thing about, like, someone had this premise for, like, a book where it was like magic is just code. So like the same time you would have like syntax errors in like a code you would write, you would have like syntax errors in magic. And it's, again, it can totally go wrong. I think of the book Off to Be the Wizard, where they basically use computer code to like write programs to give themselves magic. Never finished. I wanted to finish that book, but I never did. It's pretty interesting though. It's an interesting premise, where they like find a computer that can like manipulate reality, and like the main character gets right. He basically commits like tax fraud and like steals money from banks by rewriting the code, but then he gets caught by the FBI, so he instead travels back in time to escape, and then uses his ability to manipulate code to do like magic. It's a whole thing. It's an interesting concept for a book, and there's like 5 of them. I only ever picked up the first one, and I never finished it. I really should. But yeah, so yeah, the whole bit with Amity and Luz having their like magic battle, and then they both end up cheating because there's this whole bigger rivalry with the sisters, and then finding out that the owl, that everyone calls her the Owl Lady because she's cursed, and like that whole thing with the spell a day. That's all. Again, Ida is Grunkle Stan. But I fucking love Grunkle Stan, right? The some of those jokes, man, commit tax evasion, and they even do some of the same like things that Gravity Falls does. Like Gravity Falls did a whole body switching episode, so this show does a body switching episode. But I know a lot of shows do body switching episodes because surprise, surprise, body switching episodes are very fun, right? And there's a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, the whole her being wanted by the Emperor for all the coven, for her disobeying the covens, and then you actually meet the Emperor at the end of the season, and he's this whole thing. I'm in, because he claims to not like, he's like, oh, I'm trying to like control magic, not because I want to, but because the Boiling Isles where they live is just like a dead giant, right? It's like in the same way like Gravity Falls, they later explain that it's like an alien spaceship crashed there, and like all weirdness is attracted to Gravity Falls, right? The Boiling Isles is like a dead giant, but he like, and like there's this heart in his like castle that I'm assuming is supposed to be the giant's heart. But yeah, he doesn't actually care about like whether he gets Ida or not. What he wants is the door to the human world, because that's what Ida has. But it does make, because he claims, right, he wants the door, but he also claims that he doesn't plan on conquering the human world, which is actually a breath of fresh air. I actually really hope that his plan isn't conquering the human world, because I think that's been there, done that several times. Part of me wonders if it's going to be a reverse Star versus the Forces of Evil, because at the end of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, the solution that they come to, the conclusion they come to, and admittedly as a viewer I came to the same conclusion, is that the problem was magic. That, right, magic, which can only be used by the elite class, had to be destroyed, and that's what they do at the end of the show. And when they destroy magic, it merges the two worlds. So, and again, I know the Star vs. the Forces of Evil finale kind of fucking sucked. I didn't hate it as much as other people did, but it's got problems, and God, don't even get me started on the shipping wars. But I wonder if it's going to be the reverse, that he's trying to get to the human world, not to conquer it, but to bring it magic, as like the giant wills it, and he's gonna, right, not get rid of, merge the worlds to get rid of magic, but merge the worlds to create more magic. Just speculation. But yeah, in so the finale, Ida gets captured by her sister, because Luz gets captured, and I think I'm gonna start doing with Luz what I do with Aang. Right, where every time you say Aang, you have to pronounce it wrong. Aang, Ong. Right, there's no, like, I can, right, because no matter which one you choose, Aang or Ong, someone will always complain. Rayquaza, Rayquaza, Bokoblin, Bokoblin, Hydrocity. It's Hydrocity, by the way. It's Hydrocity. It's not Hydrocity. This ain't fucking Megamind. It's Hydrocity. That's been, Sonic Origins came out this week, and that's been on my that argument has restarted again, so that's it's Hydrocity. But yeah, so I think I'm just gonna keep change. I'm gonna just take the L right now, admit I will never get it correct, and just, pronounce it wrong every time. But yeah, Ida gets captured at the end of the season. Luz goes to save her, and her friends kind of help out by defending, like, hey, even though the Owl Lady's wanted, Because, yeah, part of the deal is that, oh, the owl, right, Lilith captured Ida because she's the one that cursed her, which I saw that twist coming. That was, yeah, no, that makes sense. But she can't, right, because she wanted the Emperor to cure her, but no, she can't be cured. And instead the Emperor goes to turn her to stone, because he doesn't actually care about Ida joining the Coven, right? He just wants to get rid of her, right? He more cares about his system than he does whether she actually lives or dies. Which is why it kind of makes sense when at the end, when they're able to get out, the Emperor isn't, like, fully going after them still, because now she no longer has magic, so it doesn't matter if Ida is in a Coven or not. Because, yeah. That makes sense, and why the Golden Boy in the second season is way more laissez-faire with the whole thing. And actually, like, strikes a deal with him. Yeah, the whole bit with him turning to stone, him actually wanting the door, Luz landing, 2 hits on him, which no one's ever done before. And the Emperor's design is, they save it for the end of the season. And yeah, and then he starts showing up more, right, in the first episode, there's like, oh, now there's a statue of him in the town square. But it makes sense, you know, they wanted to save that. Again, that's what surprised me about She-Ra. They showed Hordak's full design in the second episode. And I know there's Horde Prime, but they're very similar at the end of the day. Yeah, no, but yeah, so the Emperor, I think he's got a pretty good design, you know. And yeah, and then it ends with, right, Amity, or Luz destroys the door, ruining her chance to get home, at least for now. She still has the key. But the Emperor's already rebuilding the door. So he's planning something. And yeah, that's where the season ends. And I think it reminds me a lot. Gravity Falls is one of the greatest shows ever. Like, seriously, it's so good. And, well, I know Gravity, like, we know, right, from all this Alex Hirsch stuff that's coming out for the 10-year anniversary, that, like, shit went on behind the scenes, and he fought with standards and practices constantly. But Gravity Falls was only, like, 2 seasons. And one of the things that makes it so great is that it just does those 2 seasons. It does 2 really strong seasons, and then just ends. And while it's gonna suck, this show will never get to be what it fully wanted to be. I hope that in its let's just say 3 seasons, because again, I don't know exactly what the fuck's going on with Disney, and I just know they've canceled the show. But yeah, fuck Disney. But I hope that in what time it has, it becomes something really special. It's gonna suck to see it never live up to do what it fully wanted to do. But I hope with what it has, it becomes something great, you know? I do. But we'll see. Like I said, I finished the first season, 2 days ago, and I just started the second season today. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a fantastic show. Again, very similar to Gravity Falls, but I mean that as a compliment, because Gravity Falls is one of the greatest of all times, and this might, and like, depending on how this all plays out in the end, this might be as well. But yeah, so far I have thoroughly enjoyed everything I've seen. So I guess that takes us to the end. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about? I guess as we get into this outro stuff. Yeah, we've been going for 3 hours. Ticket to Ride. So I've played, I like Ticket to Ride, you know, it's a pretty fun game. And I've played the original a few times, I've played European once or twice, but I picked up Japan. So I picked up Japan and Italy, and I played a game, because I haven't met with my board game group in like a month. We've all been so busy. But we met up and we played, it took us, I don't know, like an hour to play Ticket to Ride Japan. And yeah, it's a pretty solid expansion, you know. I think the bullet train is an interesting mechanic, specifically because everyone could use it. So like halfway through the game, we had used up all like 16 pieces of the bullet train, or however many there were. And now it was like, okay, well now we gotta start taking extra cards to see, like, oh, we've now got this, like, train that everyone can use that goes from the left to the right side of the map, with a few exceptions. Can we now start taking, like, extra destination tickets and just adding, like, 1 or 2 more spaces to, get these extra spots and get bonus points? I got some really... I did terribly. I came in last. Because I would draw, like, those extra destination tickets, and then they'd all be, like, 1 or 2 points. I'd be able to easily complete them, but they just weren't worth that many points. So I had to... So it didn't end great. And especially because one of the things about Ticket to Ride is if you're not going for, like... Well, the destination tickets do help if, while playing the game, you only go for, like, smaller routes. So, like, you're only... Like, if you only go for, like, 1, 2, and 3 routes, you're just not going to get enough points. You have to go for some of those, like, 6 routes. I think there's 8 routes in Europe. Because if you don't go for those bigger routes, it just won't work. It just won't work. So yeah, you gotta go for those bigger ones. But you do, but yeah, I just wasn't. Like, all of my connecting stations were 1, 2, or 3. I think I did maybe a single 4. Just because that was to complete my tickets. I didn't need any, like, of the, like, 4 6s on the board. Right, they just weren't, like, they weren't in the path I needed to, complete all my tickets. So yeah, I did terribly. I did terribly, and I totally lost. I think I scored like I think it was like a 67 or something, and the person in first scored like 100. So yeah, it didn't, even though I thought I was doing okay, yeah, that 100 really, like, surprised us all. But what helped was that what got them to the 100 especially was that they did the most on the bullet train. And the bullet train was, as long as if you came in first, that was an extra 25 points. So that was huge. I think I did 3rd on the bullet train, which got me, like, an extra, like, 5. No, I think I actually... Yeah, no, I did 3rd. I think I got, like, an extra 5. So it wasn't much. But yeah, I lost. I got my ass kicked. Yeah, I play. That's a little board game, you know. I've been because we haven't met in like a month, so I've just been stockpiling stuff because stuff keeps going on sale, and whenever something goes on sale, I'm like, yeah, you know what, I might as well pick it up. So I have like 10 games we haven't touched yet, and I'm just like, oh, I'm waiting. Like, I have Shamans. And I'm like, I'm so ready to play Shaman, man. But I'll get around to it. Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff this past week. 10 hours of Fallout, 10 hours of Minecraft. I mean, admittedly, I started the Owl House like last week. I think I even talked about. I was like 10 episodes in last week. And that's not even talking about the depressing shit. Okay, this is probably our last round. I fucking suck at tail tag. Oh, gosh dang it! I was really hoping to use that person as like a buffer. Oh, come on! I was literally grabbing them. Yoink. You're still AFK. Yeah. I know, I think that's all I've been doing. I'm gonna probably, I've been thinking about, like, you know, should I start a lot? Like, I'm putting all this time into Fallout 4, but there's so many better games I could be playing. And, like, Fallout 4 is fun, you know? It's a fine game. But I'm like, I could be doing Fire Emblem Three Houses. I could be doing Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That are these, like, massive RPGs as well. But no, instead I'm just hitting things in the head with a super sledge. I already said I'm playing a melee character, you know? I've been using the Idiot Savant perk. So, yeah, that's created some problems, actually, because I can't do terminals from Dick. Right? I've got master lockpicking, but I can't touch terminals on. Ugh. And I hate how many doors are terminal only. That's kind of annoying. It's nice when they give me a choice of terminal or a lockpick. It was nice when I got to Kellogg's house, because last time I did Kellogg's house, I think I stole the key from the mayor, if I remember correctly. That sounds right in my head. Maybe I bribed her. I think you can bribe her. But no, this time I have master lockpicking, so I just lockpick the door. Yeah, I'm like in my 30, right? I'm like level 30 something. I don't know. I've not been using my every time I level up, I don't immediately use my level up. So like I have a bunch of level ups right now that I have not been using. But yeah, so I should be doing, because Three Hopes came out, and I was like, God, I really should be playing Three Houses. I really do want to. Because I want to because I played Awakening, and I liked Awakening, but I want to give the series another shot, because I never actually beat Awakening, and I never beat Fates either. Fates Rebirth, or Birth by Sleep, whatever the last Fates game was called. I kind of don't remember. Or whatever the Hoshido Fates game was. Birthright, Rebirth, Birth by Sleep. Oh my god, I got fucked over by that fan. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I've been thinking, I really should be doing, or even like I should be playing Horizon instead of Fallout 4, but, you know, you want to play what you want to play. We'll be back later. Again, I expect the Nintendo Direct to be Tuesday. No matter if it is Tuesday, of course we will be streaming it. If it's not Tuesday, then we'll just be doing Pokemon. I think we only have 2, maybe 3 more Pokemon streams left, because we have to beat the game, do the post-game on the Isle of Armor, and then do the Crown Tundra. So actually probably 3 more streams. And then I'd love to move on to something different. I'm ready to move on to something other than Pokemon. I'm not hating Pokemon. Like, I'm actually enjoying it well enough. But it's time. I want to do something else on stream. And so I'm thinking, you know, I don't know. You know, I'm not going to worry about it. Like, I have like 10 ideas. We still got to do the Bug Snacks DLC, so maybe that. But I'm not even going to worry about it, you know. But yeah, that's where we're going to end off for the night. We'll be back. Again, no matter what, we'll be back doing something on Tuesday. Nintendo Direct, we'll see. There are a lot of rumors. But, yeah. And yeah, that's all. And hey, look, I only bitched about Fall Guys microtransactions once. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. You know, with how terrible they are now. I've actually seen the Mechagodzilla costume. I've seen like 2 people with it. So either they use the tier skip, or people are just level 99. Which is crazy to think about, but yeah. With that, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.